All right. Well, what's going on, everybody? I'm gonna do a watch party stream here for all 0 people watching. Either way, it should be fun to have a live reaction to what's going on. So I saw SHELION do a pretty funny thumbnail. I don't know if this is gonna be clickbait or what, but I'm going to watch her stream while I'm on it. So let's do this. I think she just went live here. Let's see here. Present, share screen. It says it's happening and there's no voting. I want to know what the hell she's talking about. Let's see here. Hopefully I don't get
It would be a very
the
exciting
troll.
and I'm gonna try and keep it as professional as
I got my
possible.
tea.
So if you guys, if I sound like really super nasally, it's because I'm still getting over my sinus
Got my
thing,
popcorn.
and I'm pretty good, pretty good.
Got my flavor cup.
I'm fine actually. It's just I still have like this nasally. I sound like Fran Drescher. Excuse me, sorry. So, let's see. Big news, yeah. So I'm gonna get into this, and of course, I'm not going to start off with like the biggest news, the biggest part of the news,
Ah,
because then I'd
everybody
rather
leave,
lead
right?
up to it. I think it'll be a little bit more fun leading up to the news. But there's a lot of things that I want to cover. There's a lot of things I want to talk about leading up to that news that are important details. And I'm really going to make sure to set apart things that are opinions, speculations, and actual facts. And when I say facts, things that can be proven either by a cross reference or like just flat out like right here, right now. Um, so yeah, we're gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do. All right. We're gonna talk about all this stuff. Okay. Dark Realm Gaming, I appreciate that. I'm wearing sunglasses because I have a little bit of a headache, and so it helps reduce my or I guess it's kind of preventative sometimes, or reduce, or just make it so it's not worse. Let's do it. So I was thinking about this like before I started this show, and I'm like, man, where do I even start with all this crap? Um, because there's a lot of details. Really, like there's seriously a lot of details in this whole thing leading up to this news. Now, I am not like an arcade one up channel. You guys, most of you know that. Like I kind of started off that way, and then I've just been like more gaming oriented, modding in our arcades. Excuse me, modding arcades and consoles and stuff like that. So I tend to kind of gravitate towards just what I think is interesting at the time, or what I think people would like to know or need to know that I don't see on YouTube. Because a lot of times, like I'll go on YouTube and look for information, and I won't be able to find things or information, and then that's frustrating. So, or accurate, and that leads me to my next point, which is that in the arcade one up space, because it's not the home arcade space, it's just the arcade one up space, there's a lot of misinformation, and a lot of information gets passed around. All right, that's wrong, it's inaccurate, or it's just a straight up lie. Okay. And one of the things that's very fascinating to me about the arcade one up community is that they all continue to like support each other and support this kind of fake news behavior, and a lot of the underlying negativities that are make that community what it is are what are causing more of these problems. People not being called out for giving wrong information or not knowing what the F they're talking about. And and then a lot of gaslighting and stuff like that. And one thing I will say is, because I am going to mention names when I'm talking about this, and yes, this is leading up to actual news. But I am going to mention names. I don't care. And I really don't have any ill will towards anyone in the arcade one up community, but there are like people who I would prefer like not to interact with, and a lot of people who I just don't interact with who I used to interact with for various reasons. And I'm not going to go into like huge detail on that. But throughout, I'll kind of like sprinkle some things in there for context. Like I want to make sure that there's context, because I don't want people to say like, "Oh, there wasn't context." I mean, people are going to say that anyways, but yeah, is what it is. But I will say this. I will say this. Starting off, I'm actually gonna say, and this is a lot of people are gonna disagree with this, but that's fine. I'm actually gonna say that the Rexer show is as much of a douche as he can be. Is probably one of the most what's actually the word that I want to use? I'm just gonna say it this way. If you take the arcade one up community and then you go to Rexer's channel, his channel is the epitome of what the arcade one up community is and does. And the thing is like he's out there doing his thing. And again, I have no I have no problems with Rexer or Kevgret. Like we had our beef in the past, which was really just whatever, stupid. Um, but I have no problems with them. So me saying this is not a shot at him. What I'm saying is though is that they're a representation of what this community actually is. So that channel basically encompasses and takes all the energy from the community, and just then it just kind of explodes every time that he goes live. So his information isn't always correct. Sometimes it's like way inaccurate. And it's fun to read the comments. Like it's really fun to read his comments because you see people in there that are like, "I come here for the truth. Like you're doing a great thing for humanity," and just kind of like bowing down. And it's funny because it's like it's not right. Like it's literally inaccurate like information, and that's totally fine, um, because he's not the only one who does it, is he? There's plenty of other big channels, like a lot bigger than his, that cover arcade one up stuff that give incorrect information or that speculate on things and then lead viewers to believe that it may be true, right? So again, going back to his channel, that's why his channel is the epitome of what the arcade one up community is or has become, is because it represents everything that's going on in the community. Okay. Backstabbing, um, uh, disinformation, um, half truths, partial stories, um, tailoring things to fit your own narrative. Okay. Well, everybody's slapping him in the nuts for doing that stuff. There's other channels out there doing the same thing that are very pro arcade one up. And so it's funny because I've really thought about this a lot, and it's true. in my opinion, from my point of view, all of that's true. And based on those things that I'm telling you, which are accurate, which is that his information isn't always correct, but neither is information on some of the other channels. And there are some channels that are good at saying, this is what they think or whatever. But, there was a time where we know that it wasn't just what they thought, it was what they knew or what they were letting on to, you know. And some of these other content creators, they take breadcrumbs and they sprinkle it over you like it's fish food. And this is what happens. It's like this repeating cycle, like, rinse, wash, rinse, repeat. And it just happens over and over again. And content creators are very lazy sometimes. They don't go out and do research and get their information or get the full story. And because it's more fun, and they realize that they get more views and more of an audience when they're kind of spinning the story their own way. And that, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. That's it. So I think it's hypocritical, which is another thing that Rexer's channel represents. I think it's hypocritical that people want to blame him, or say, not blame him, but say that he's like, just such a terrible channel when there's other content creators doing the same thing. Okay, so that's my point of view. That's my opinion on that. And of course, of course, that's not all, but that's an important starting point. That's an important starting point. Let me see. Giving certain people a forum based on their super likes is also distressing. It's a serious, super likes is also distressing. It's a serious conflict of interest. So, yeah. Well, I mean, and then let's just take the whole shilling thing. For example, we all know Rexer is really good friends with Glenn, right? Glenn, GRS Glenn. And he shilled his what is it, the fighting stick product. Okay. Which is fine. He can do that. But how hard did he hit all the other content creators in the arcade 1-up space about that? And people in the arcade 1-up space have done that. And so that's true. Yeah. But the thing is that people don't want to look at the big picture. They don't want to step back and look at the really big picture, which is that it's hypocrisy in this entire community. Okay, like the entire arcade 1-up community has this whole hypocrisy thing going on.
So
And
far, I haven't disagreed with what she said.
It's just very alien to me. Like, I don't understand it. Okay, now I'm not perfect,
Right?
and but I do try to like be very honest about things. And there are things that like you don't need to say on stream, or that you don't need to talk about, that may be going on behind the scenes. Like, nobody needs to know about that. Like, it's just the way it is. But when you have people like digging up information and manipulating people behind the scenes to bring stuff to light, like, I'm not the only one that's happened to. Okay, there's a lot of other people in the community who've done stuff like that. And when I say stuff like that, I don't just mean like personal information. I mean like digging for information from people and then using that information to make their channel benefit more. So that's happening. It's happening all over the arcade 1-up space. All right. Now, and don't worry, I assure you, there is actual information coming. Okay. But I need to get there. And I can't get there if you don't have enough context to understand how I'm going to get there. So, so that kind of covers that. All right. And that's my into this. So I'm going to say, for as much as people, say that Rexer's a piece of crap, and I do, like, I know what his tactics are. Like, I know how his channel works, you know, and I'd say that to like anybody. Well, if he reacts a certain way to something, then, you know, just expect like this to happen or X, Y, and Z, because you know that that's probably what he's going to do. All right.
Yeah, it's
I'm not saying
pretty
that makes him a
predictable.
good guy or a bad guy in all of this, because I don't think like really that there's anybody who's innocent. Which brings you up to the next tier, which is Arcade One Up, right? The company, Arcade One Up. All right. Everybody's talking about John D right now and Arcade One Up. And I've kind of just been like quietly watching because I'm curious. I want to see what people are saying. I want to see if it's accurate. I want to see if people even know what they're talking about. And real quick to caveat on that, like there's nothing that aggravates me as a gamer more than people who try to talk about games who don't know shit about games or arcades. Like, dude, if you don't know what you're talking about, please shut up, because you're passing on information to people and it's confusing. It's confusing to people, especially people who come to YouTube to get accurate information. So so if you were one of those people who's like, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon because like this looks like I'm gonna get a bunch of views and it's popular right now, like that's a bad idea if you don't know what you're talking about. If you know what you're talking about and you're passionate about it, then, you know, great. You know, try it out. Like everybody's going to make mistakes and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? So that's fine, but when you come on YouTube and you're getting, you know, or passing incorrect information or doing reviews about things. And yeah, I'm talking about Cornercade, Jago. And I'll get more into that. But and you're passing, you know, bunk information around, it just makes everything more confusing for people. So that's something that irritates me. And it's one of the reasons also why I started doing YouTube, was because no, I'm not like this like god of gaming and arcades, but I've been there. Like I grew up gaming in the 80s, 90s, you know, 2000s. Like I've been there the whole time, dude. Like I know what it's like to play in arcades, to play on arcade machines. And I'll do research to get my information correct. All right? I'll go through that and I'll do research to get my information correct. And so as a content creator, you have that responsibility to make your information accurate or to correct it if it's incorrect, and then also to give other people credit if you're getting that information from them, and it's not originating from you,
Exactly.
right?
I think that's the most upsetting thing.
So yeah, um,
These mofos
that's just kind
literally
of
will
like a little
screenshot and steal
side
other people's
tangent there,
posts
real
and then
quick.
pass it on as their own. It's pretty low.
Let me look at Chaotic BPR says, that's why I love Arcade Anonymous Brothers. We talk about modding these toys, enhancing your game rooms. Yeah, we want the new products and wonder what's going on, but we mostly just want to enjoy what we got. Right. Um, Dark Realm Gaming says, I was born in 75, so I'm old school. Yeah. JJ, I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you. Let's see. Real MoFlow. They all want conspiracy. Wait, they all went conspiracy theorists. I paused on them on those channels for about 2 weeks now. Bo knows Tecmo. It's like someone just reading off a spec sheet versus someone who has real knowledge. Yeah. Um. Okay, so that's kind of like my tangent off to the side. So, and and yes, it's important to mention that, because it's important to mention that I'm not. I mean, if you watch my channel, you know, like I'm not just some idiot like coming onto YouTube who has no clue what they're talking about. And I have no problem saying that about myself. Um, Arcade Went Up as a company, okay? Here's where the problem really starts. Like these guys are notorious for not communicating very well with their customer base. And they were almost getting to a point where their level of communication was kind of getting better. And John was honestly the one who was orchestrating a lot of that. And it may not have been perfect, but that's what was happening. Because of John, Arcade One Up was starting to communicate with its customer base a lot more. Now, I had like a friendly professional relationship with John, and I haven't talked to him like in a while. But I had a friendly professional relationship with him. Excuse me. And so I did that interview with him and we talked about a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff that got overlooked and was never mentioned on a lot of bigger
Bless you.
channels like let's just
Yo,
say
JLS, what's up?
Dub's Arcade Loft,
Yeah,
Mike
guys, I'm
P
just doing the
Gaming,
live stream, watching the live
who
stream.
else? Justin
I saw
Console
her
Kicks. All
thumbnail. I
right.
was like, man.
All of
So
those types of
got my
channels, they didn't say
popcorn,
a damn thing about the interview that I
got
had
tea,
with John D, for example. They didn't, talk about it or
got
discuss
the
any of the
flavor
information
cover.
past there. And there, if you
Let's check what
actually
she's
watch
got to
it
say.
and you listen to the
So sounds like
conversations
right
that we're
now
having,
she's leading
and by
up.
the way,
She name
I
dropped a couple
actually
people right
interviewed
now.
him for 6 hours.
She
Like
name dropped
the overall
Rexer
interviews
and Cornercade,
were
and I
six
guess she's
hours
leading up
long
to
in
her big
total.
reveal soon.
Okay. It was 2 days worth of interviewing. I had to cut the interviews down. There were parts in there that had nothing to do with like the interview, like us, you know, um, having to like take breaks or, kids coming home from school and stuff like that. And so there's some of that type of stuff in there, but I had to edit it. I couldn't just have this 6 hour blotch of an interview. And the reason why it was 6 hours was because I really wanted to dig into things with him. And that was around the time that KI Pro had come out. And KI Pro was just, it had the potential to be a really cool cabinet. And it was, in my opinion, it was a letdown and it was overpriced. So, um, anyways, when I interviewed him, when I talked to him, uh, he had a lot of good information, especially information related to licensing and to what the company basically had available in his back pocket. Okay. And you can see some of that in the interview. I did leave that in there. Um, at the time, because of what was going on, he was working on getting the new show out. And I had talked to him. I said before that, before I even interviewed him, the first time I talked to John was when I was trying to bring to his attention that there was problems with Big Blue. All right. The Street Fighter emulation on Arcade One Ups sucks. Like it sucks. Okay. The best one that they did was the Legacy Cab, which I think was Moo emulation. And that was like that's been the best one so far, but it has no
I have no
online
idea
play.
about this stuff.
Okay. Now,
I got that NBA
if you watch my
Shaq, and I
latest
thought
Street Fighter
it's
2
okay.
Deluxe review that I did a couple months ago or something, you'll see in there like the main portion of the video is talking about the actual gameplay. Okay, because they haven't fixed anything really. They made the scan lines better. They scaled the resolution correctly, and but they haven't fixed anything in the emulation itself. So there's still all these like weird graphical glitches that are stupid and annoying. And that to me is annoying. It pisses me off. It's like, dude, it's Street Fighter, bro. Like it's not hard to emulate this game. It's not hard to make it work correctly. Like, come on, let's get it together here. And so that was the first time that I talked to him, and it was bringing that stuff up. And his response was like, well, we're more concerned with latency and stuff like that. And I'm like, sure, fine. But these are things that like can easily be fixed or addressed or whatever. And so presumably there was, devs, a lot of their devs are in China that do the emulation uh, or work on like Street Fighter stuff. And that's the way that it goes. So you know, that's what he told me. He said that their concerns were more about latency, and I said, okay, great. But how about those graphics that are like, I'm sorry, how many decades old now? If people are paying $300 to $600 for a mini arcade machine, then they should be getting a nice product that can play Street Fighter 2 correctly. All right. If you go to the 30th anniversary
So
collections on
they made a
console,
patch for
I
it,
don't see any of those
but
weird problems that
A1
they
Up
have.
didn't put anything
Okay.
else out, even though
And those are what,
there
50
was a
bucks?
working patch. That's
Probably
crazy.
less than that now. So, Voltar, what's up? Let's see, Mensa, that cool.
Hey
I
Biggie, how are
bet
you
he even
doing
talked
today?
to you about it. Oh, yeah.
Multitasking,
So yeah, I mean, like the
multitasking,
fact
or
that he
watching
was
the live
willing to
stream
listen to people in
that she's
the
doing.
Arcade One Up community.
Figure it
If
needs some
you reached out
courage.
to
I
him,
have
if you
no
knew what
idea
you
what
were
she's going to
talking
talk
about, and you
about.
just
I
came to
saw
him with
her
whatever it was, I mean,
thumbnail and was
I
praying it wasn't
guarantee
bait. So
you
far, it
that
doesn't
he
seem
would have
like it.
been willing to like
Says she's leading up to something.
work things out with like people who he didn't get along with if they were willing to, you know. Moo
Format of the show's the
emulation
same.
hasn't even been
Anybody can roll up.
discussed by anyone. Yeah, I mean, it says it on the Legacy screen when it boots up. It says it's Moo emulation. So, uh, Starbucks, Kumarev. Um, but yeah, I mean, nobody talks about stuff like that. Like these are things that YouTubers should be talking about, that these channels should be talking about. Not like constantly like what's the next product. That's not always news. Like let's talk about the mechanics of the product.
I
Like
don't think it's
let's
more about news. It's
explain
like
what's going on here.
the other
Let's
folks
bring
are like
these things up.
mini
But you know what?
commercials.
Arcade One Up as a company, they
That's
don't
all it
take
is.
it seriously. Like
But
they want the
I
publicity,
don't think you can
but they
expect
don't want to
too
deal with
many
what's
people
going
to
on in
get
the
too
community. So
critical.
you're
Not
not
if
going to get
they're,
any support from them, okay?
you
And
know,
they don't care about who
the
is
vendor doesn't
doing
usually
what.
appreciate
They
negative
want to know where to go to
critiques,
land their
regardless
product
how
so that it's their product's
reputable
going to look
or
good. Look,
respectful
when
they
I
are.
did the
So
review for
I
Fast
kind
and
of get it for
Furious,
some
that was
folks,
not
but I think
from
there's still
Arcade
ways
One
to
Up. That
tell the
was
truth
John D asking me
without
to do it.
insulting the
And he
company.
basically begged me to do it. And I'm not saying that to insult him. He basically had to beg me to do it. And I was like, I really don't know if I want to do it. And when he told me that it wasn't going to be exactly, and he told me this like very disappointedly, that it
Hmm.
wasn't going to be exactly what he thought it was going to be. And I was like, okay, dude, I'll do it. I'll do the review for you because then I'm not going to be comparing it to the arcade because it's clearly not the arcade version of the game. It is done by Raw Thrills. It is a
Oh, yeah, that recent
downscaled
game.
version of the arcade game that plays great and is actually really fun, but it's more like a downscaled version of Supercars. And if you've played Supercars, you would know that because the car roster is almost exactly the same, but they skinned it as the Fast and the Furious. Okay. And then you have the element of all the licensing and all the money that goes into that crap and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, I'm not gonna get into that part of it right now, but there's all these fine details that go into these things. And John's telling me about the licensing and all that stuff that the company has in their back pocket. Okay. And his relationship with other companies like Capcom and stuff like that. And so there's a lot that is going on here that is not being discussed, and the evidence is out there, but YouTubers don't want to use it. You know why? Because other YouTubers that have bigger subscriber counts don't want to give clout to people.
Right.
Straight up. They don't want to support people. They don't want to support certain people because then if you're associated with that person, like, oh, well, it
I think it
might
was
make you look bad.
Reese
If you
and
have
the
30,000,
Australian
50,000,
guy,
60,000 subscribers,
and
you
he
think
had put something
associating
out,
yourself with
and
one
all these
small
tubers done
YouTuber is
took
gonna make
his
you look bad? It
screenshots
could
and ran with it.
potentially, maybe.
Didn't give that man
But I
no
mean, like,
credit. It was
how
pretty
bad would that
pathetic.
YouTuber have to be for that to happen? You know?
And we all know who we're talking
So
about. It's the
John
same like 5
talked a lot
people.
about licensing in that interview, and there's a lot of very, very obvious let-ons to things that they might have or things that they have in their back pocket for sure. that just aren't ready yet, or it's either an emulation related thing, or it has something to do with licensing and market buy-in. Okay. And when I'm talking about like market buy-in, I'm talking about their vendors. Okay. People like Walmart and like some of the big companies that they sell to aren't going to want to buy into certain products if they don't think like their market research doesn't say that it's going to be a lucrative investment for them, you know, with a big enough return. So let me catch up here on the comments. Sorry, let's see. Moo emulation, yeah, I got that. All right, so that emulator was developed by people that first started doing emulation for Capcom games back in the day, right? Roots, yes. Thank you. Bo gives a good explanation there. Moo emulation was developed for Capcom games, which is why those version of the games are the best version on, you know, Arcade 1-Up's platforms. But they never used it again, or at least I haven't seen any space where they've used it, except for I think the Street Fighter 2 Partycade, the Legacy Partycade or whatever. So let's see, Paul Bears. That's always been a problem with A1 community.
I
Let's
forgot to
talk
put in
about
the
what's next.
description
Yeah,
her stream. I'll do that after when it
understandable.
finally uploads.
Let's see. Car licensing is a nightmare. Everything counts in large amounts. It's a competitive world. Depends. Does YouTuber's name start with Z? Jason, don't watch this one often. Okay. So, licensing, John D, Arcade 1-Up. That's been the big subject in the Arcade 1-Up community lately that I've been watching, and everyone's like, you know, where's Waldo? And it's like, what? Is John D going back to Arcade 1? Who cares? It doesn't even matter. It's not relevant. Like it's at this point.
Thank
The
you.
problem is Arcade 1-Up, the company. Okay. Now let's go back a little bit here. Let's keep all this context in mind. Okay. What I'm talking about with licensing and what I'm talking about with John D and why it doesn't matter whether or not he comes back to the company at this point. And that I'm going to tell you from what I have heard that he is potentially working on something else. Okay. I don't know what. I'm not going to speculate, but I do know that he's working on someone else, or at least that was the goal last time I heard. Now let's circle back.
Time
Okay.
Killers makes
and I'm going to talk about Danny, the corner cave.
Oh, Tile Killer.
Now here's a guy who jumped onto YouTube. All right. And he doesn't know what he's talking about, other than like maybe retail stuff related to his job at Best Buy. Okay. And has multiple times said,
it's interesting she brings that up,
that he wants to work with or for Arcade 1-Up,
because
and
Best
behind
Buy
the scenes has said that he'd do anything to work for Arcade 1-Up.
Has a like stipulation in their policy.
And here's the guy.
You're not supposed to have second jobs. You're not supposed to have relationships
of you know, community wise
with these vendors.
Community wise, like he has this huge following of community people who go into his chats, super chat him, and
he can get in real trouble.
You know, show all the support. And then you've got like, you know, bigger YouTubers who go in there too,
having a relationship with Arcade 1-Up.
We know why. Okay, we know why. There. Because Katie's cute and she has big tatas, right? Now, I have nothing against Katie. I think Katie is like nice. I think she's probably like a nice looking person. But what I don't like is when people are manipulative. Okay. And Danny comes across to me as a manipulative person. Okay. In the past, he has had an account where he has used, you know, basically appropriated words that he shouldn't be using, like the N-word. Okay. And I'm not going to like go into the detail of that, but you can go over to Messiah Oneness Gaming and just look through his videos and you'll see stuff in there that shows you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Now look, don't start this crap with me. Well, it happened a long time ago. Okay. When a YouTuber says like and this is current, when somebody says like, oh come on, I have black friends, like dude, cut the crap, man.
That's like just
Like,
that's like
don't
one of the
tell
biggest
me
signs.
that you
Any
have
black person will tell you
whatever
that.
color skin
That shit
friends.
don't
Like
fly.
that's not going to fix what you have said or what you have done. Okay, if anything, don't lie about it. Take responsibility for it and be sincere about it. um and don't spin this
I'm
narrative
from
of,
a
oh, it was a long
sundown
time
town,
ago.
and I
I don't
grew
give
up
a
with white
crap, dude. If
friends
you can't take
who could be considered
responsibility for your
racist.
actions, like that's on
That doesn't make
that's
you
your
any less
character right
racist.
there. Okay. And so here we have this guy, MCP is on his show, and he's going on there all the time, and he's going on there because he wants to be on there and hang
I
out
don't have black
and
friends.
talk
I
about
have
Arcade One
friends. We're
Up.
all people.
Well, Katie's on the show. Okay. Well, so
Tell
we
that
have
to all
that
my
going, and
doctors
then
that make
he's
it
gonna hook
clear
up
that I'm African and
Danny up,
American, and
right?
I either have
He's gonna
certain
get
conditions
Danny
or
in with
don't have
Arcade One
certain
Up, but then
conditions
this whole
because I'm
thing
black.
kind of happens with the N-word, and then now where's Travis? I haven't seen Travis since that happened.
Hello, how are you
I haven't
doing?
seen
Chris C. I don't think I met you yet. How
him,
are you?
taking any kind of responsibility. He just kind of like disappeared from the community.
Yeah, he did
He just kind of
disappear.
like whoop, went away.
I think
All
I
right.
saw him
I'm
playing with
sure
Mo.
he's still
Yeah,
around
he
and
was with
doing
Mo
things, and
yesterday.
that's great, fantastic. I mean, Arcade One Up was paying him, right, to be a consultant, and it started out as him trying to get stuff for the community. Like by all means, it started out with good
Yeah, because
intentions
he was playing.
and
I
doing
saw
that
him
stuff,
play
but then all of a sudden he starts using
Tekken.
Danny's platform to get out there, knowing that Danny doesn't know crap about arcades. He doesn't know crap about like value or
Did he
any of this
really?
other stuff. He's just using his platform because he's quote unquote not involved in any of the drama. Well, that's a load of crap. Okay.
Oh,
Because he's
I see
going
what you're
around
saying, Mo.
everybody's
He
show
just came on a
asking, can I
friend's
be on your
stream,
show?
or he
Can
was
I be
just
on your show?
playing, and he
Can I
happened to
please
be
be
on your
on your
stream.
show?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Let me
So
be on your
then
show.
that would make
Okay, dude,
us not
nobody wants
accurate
you
that he
on
hasn't
their
showed
show
up,
because
and
you're
make her
annoying.
accurate that he
Like,
showed
that's
up,
why.
where he hasn't been showing up.
You're annoying. Okay. With your let's go and your level of ignorance about arcade games. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just like to say, let's go, and you can take a screwdriver, screws like any other person and build an arcade machine. Who cares? There is nothing entertaining or
Which
valuable,
he's free to do.
maybe
Which he's free to do,
entertaining,
right?
but not
Hang with his
valuable
friends.
about the content that you're making. And there's nothing. What do you do for the community, bro? You do nothing. You do nothing for the community. Okay. That's just the truth.
I think it's
Okay.
his.
I'm being honest
I don't
here.
think it's necessary.
That's just the truth. He does nothing for the community. So now you have
Remember, for the longest time, he was
more
supporting
people
certain
getting on his
people until
platform
it
because he's
happened
picked
to
up a
him.
little bit of steam, right? And working with him.
Yes, he
and
is.
why is that? Why is it that all of a sudden after that thing happened, that now people find value in being on his platform and working with him? I'll tell you what's going to happen, though. Let me predict the future, because here's what happens when you predict the future. See, the funny thing about predicting the future is that you can tell somebody what's going to happen in the future, and they'll either A, not believe you, or they'll listen to you, and then they'll still make the same decision, and the same thing will happen. And the reason for that is because if you're predicting the future, that means it's the inevitable truth.
I mean, how do you go
right?
from calling 14-year-old kids the N-word
And
to,
a lot of people have a
that's not
really
what I
hard
do,
time
that's
with
not what I'm
this.
about.
Okay. But people are going to say, like, oh, she's hating, she's jealous, oh, she does this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, fine, say whatever you want.
You
Okay.
gotta
If
understand,
it makes you
like,
feel better. If it
I don't think
makes
it's
your
not
sock
necessarily
hole
bad prompted.
bigger or
It's just,
whatever,
I
like,
don't
I
think we've
don't
ever heard
care.
her take.
Okay. But the fact still stands that it's true, and these are the facts. All right. This is not like an opinion at this point. Like, you can pull up videos and clearly see that X, Y, and Z. He doesn't know what he's talking about. People use his platform.
I'm just scared if she gonna put me on her lips next
for either A, clout, or for either B, to get attention from his cute, female wife. All right. And then, all this weird stuff happens where he's going around to other channels and leaving comments on their YouTube.
It's nefarious,
And
man.
yes,
It's
I
all
pay attention to
nefarious.
this, dude, because I'm not going to walk around blind
There you go.
in a community that's supposed to be about gaming. I'm not going to walk around blindly and not know what's going on. Okay. My military mind, my
When
tactical
you
mindset won't allow me to do it. That's it. Like,
gaslighting
it's
can only
very
work
simple.
one on
It's
one,
very
and then when
simple.
other people call it that, where people
So
get upset is when
that's
other people
why
call it out, because
I
then no longer is
am
the
speaking that
manipulation
way
going
about
to
it.
occur
Okay.
or work the
So
way
I
you want
see
it
what's
to.
going on.
Because
I
if you're
watch like
going,
the comments that
no man,
people
I
leave
don't know
and
what you're
who's
talking about,
going
but then
where.
like 5 other people
And it's
go,
like, dude, if I
no,
see someone
we
leaving a
see it.
comment on a jackass's
The other guy that's
stream,
telling
like
you he doesn't
somebody
know
who
what he's
hasn't
talking
done
about
their
is full of shit.
research and just
Of course, the other
puts up
person's going to
like
be
stuff that
mad
is blatantly
at the person who mentioned it in the first place, and
just
pretty much he's that person
blatantly
that is the red pill
incorrect
right
or
now.
inaccurate. It's like, dude, here you have this lazy garbage
Right.
YouTuber who
I
can't
saw
even do
that.
their own research or get
Somebody had sent me
information
that
straight.
same bit,
And then you have this other
and
either a
I saw him
viewer
go
or other
to
content creator. Content creators are the worst.
the
Viewers
guy's
are one
page
thing,
and was like,
but content
That's not my
creators who do
style,
that are
bro."
the worst. Okay. Leaving comments on this
We're
person's
all getting
channel.
suckered by
Like,
the
you
same
just
folks.
left, Danny left a comment on one of the
Oh, there we
most
go.
garbage, biggest haters YouTube channels, with a let's go and one of his little fist bump things. Like, dude, automatically that just tells me like more about what his character is, which is that he's manipulative. He just wants to gain people's favor. He wants to look good, make money off of YouTube, and that's it. Like, that's why he's here. He's here to make money. Okay.
He said that.
So, and in my opinion, and I don't care what people say. I don't even care what him or Katie say. In my opinion, no matter how it's being presented, he's exploiting Katie to some extent.
Yeah.
Okay, to some extent. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not insinuating that he's abusive or anything like that. I'm just saying he's exploiting her. Okay. That's my opinion. But the bottom line is that you can go around and you can look at the comments that he's leaving on other YouTubers' channels and
I've
how
seen that.
concerned he is about what people think about him. And that'll tell you everything you need to know about
Come to my show. Come to my
like
show. Come
his
to my
channel
show. Come to my show.
and his
Let's
character
go.
and what his intentions are on YouTube. Okay. Did you come here to game and help the community out? Or did you come here just because you want people to see your face and your grill every time you smile, and you want them to like think you're super cool,
or to think that
'cause
he's
you're having
his
like a
wife,
midlife
because
crisis?
he already admitted that he's a catfish on Facebook, and that's his profile, not his wife's.
I don't know. But you guys take the information, go research, go look around, go see who's leaving comments where, and then you can figure these kind of things out. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, none of that, his catchphrases, his lines, Katie, none of it is going to change the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about real like arcades. He doesn't know anything about coin ops.
Killing
He
me,
doesn't really know anything about games. All right. I'm drinking some really good
You got me.
LaCroix. The fizzliness helps with my my post nasal drip. Nah.
Anonymous.
So, anyways,
I had hit up somebody,
and Addicted to
and
Arcade One Up
they
says
let
this
me
is
know
good
that
stuff. I should have made some popcorn.
that person had apologized to them, and they didn't believe him for crap either.
And the thing is, like, people will say, like,
Because they
oh,
let
this
the
is
other person
drama,
talk
it's this, it's
mess
that.
on their show
You
about
can,
that person.
again, say
Of
whatever
course, you
you
could make a
want,
public apology, but you go behind the
say that
scenes to
I'm
go, "Hey,
bringing
man, I don't agree."
drama or I'm
Well, then
this
make
or
it
I'm that.
known that you don't agree.
People
Make it public.
always like to default to this is drama when
I will. No.
people start bringing up facts.
How you let me
Or
liking
people
that Tekken
start
8, man?
defending
I
themselves.
want to get on it
It's
just
like
to
someone
get beat up
starts a
by you
fight
guys.
and then
I haven't
another
played
person
Tekken since
defends
Tekken 2.
themselves, and then they're like, "Oh, you're starting drama. You're starting drama. Oh, did YouTube? Whatever, dude. Say whatever you want." But it's not drama to bring up like these situations that are going on that are boiling under the hood of the Arcade 1UP YouTube community. You know why? I'm going to bring it all back to Arcade 1UP right now, because
Okay.
Arcade 1UP has people working there who
I'll let you
allow
do
this
that because
stuff to
I'm probably
go
the only person
on
you could
and
beat from
not
that stream I
say
watched.
anything about it and not do anything about it. Okay. So, for example, the Corner Cage channel. I haven't seen Travis go back on there, but I also haven't seen
Dang, he
him
played for
say
5
anything
minutes.
about it. And I haven't seen Arcade
I ain't never
1UP
getting
say
into one
anything
of y'all's
about it.
tournament, man.
And
Fucking welcome to
I
die,
mean, it
man.
was my understanding that there was a few
Knows like
people who were going to get
700
some
freaking
free
combos on
arcades
King.
to do
And King's one of
reviews,
my
right?
favorites
Which
because
is
of that.
cool, fine.
That's
Good for
ridiculous,
you.
man.
Like, I don't care if people get free stuff, dude. Like, I'm not jealous either, because
They're
I
gonna move
don't
on over
like,
to
I
the
don't
next
want
thing,
any of that stuff. And if I
even
did
if
want
it's
it, I could just go get it. It's not a
that
big deal.
what's that new arcade crap
But
with the pie in it?
if Arcade 1UP is going to send products out to people who have a reputation for not having the best character, like, how does that make any sense? Or if they're going to support someone on a platform like that, like, as a company in a small space like YouTube, because the Arcade 1UP
Well,
space
you
on
know,
YouTube is
if we
small.
point out
It's
stuff and then
relatively
you go,
small
hey, this
compared to
guy's
other
XYZ,
gaming
and then
spaces
you
on
go, well, what's
YouTube.
the person got to
Okay.
do?
It's getting more
Call
saturated.
somebody
It
the
was
N-word?
getting more
And
saturated.
then they do it,
And then some of it kind of died
and no one
off.
still gives a fuck. That just tells you everybody who's supportive what
Hold
they
on a
really
second.
think.
Sorry.
Plain and simple. And don't give me this bullshit,
So yeah, there's some people who are saying Arcade 1UP is the
supporting in the
problem.
background crap,
And
because
in
silence is
part,
complicity.
in part, I would say like the overarching problem, yes, yeah. As a company. All right. But look, when I did a
My son's
review
15,
for
and
their Fast and Furious,
he would have been the
um,
dude calling him that. Call of Duty
when I
and
did the
shit.
review
Fuck
for
out of
that,
here.
you guys know all that stuff came out where like it was like uh it was like tranny bashing weekend, you know? It was like, everybody get out
Exactly.
your clubs and like, you know, it's time to like go bash that stupid tranny. How dare that bitch that bitch lied, no, having a wiener.
She almost got
Like,
canceled there.
having a wiener. Like, for, you know, and again, I've said this before, like, it's nobody's business, dude. Like, I'm here as like a gaming channel. I'm not here talking about trans rights or any of that stuff. And that's stuff that I generally don't even like to get into, because there is no like left or right anymore. It's like there's just two extreme sides and they're both doing the same thing at this point. So I don't like to get into that kind of stuff. All right. And I've been places
Let me see if I
where
can
I can
find him.
tell you that politics, really, like the word politics, has nothing to do with any of it. It's all about money. Okay. It's all about money. So people believing that there's a good or a bad side is just an illusion, dude. Like, that's a total illusion just put in place to, like, you know. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, is the audio okay? Wait, hold on. I don't want you guys to lose me. Is that better? Okay, so anyways, I stay away from you know, talking about things like that, and it's not necessary. Okay, it's not a dating site. Like, nobody's here to date me. And whether or not I
Yeah,
want
that
to
shit's funny.
show like my tits
One
or my
guy came on our
cleavage,
stream and
like
was like, "Are you
that's my
single?"
business. Okay,
Like,
if you
come
like it,
on,
you
man.
like it. If you don't, you
I
don't. If
wanted
you
to do the
find
whole
out that,
Star Wars thing.
you
It's a
know,
trap.
I'm a tranny and then
Like,
you don't like
what's
it, then
wrong with you,
fine.
dude?
But like, no, like, nobody
Coming
cares.
on YouTube
Just
channel,
nobody
just
cares at the end of the day. Like, nobody
sexually
cares.
ask her a question like
Kevin
that.
Clausen, thank you for the super chat. Speaking of money, here's another super chat. Thank you. Still cutting out on my TV. Oh, okay. JJ says, I came in just a bit late. Who has crossed a line? As for the sexual preference, Jade is only one people that I know that leaves all that out and just focuses on the content. Dude, really? Is it? Oh my God. That's not good. Why is it cutting in and out? I don't know. I'm checking all my stuff right now and it looks good. Volume's up. I don't know if maybe it's like up too high. Hold on, let me check my Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mm. Okay. Well, I'm doing my best, guys. Let me see if I can angle this a little bit closer here. Okay. So where was I? So I don't bring that stuff to my gaming channel. I don't bring stuff about gender identity or any of that. Like, I am who I am. I am what I
Hey,
am.
let's be real.
And that's not
Because
what this channel is about. All right. If I
he's
want to go
spending
talk about
more
stuff like
than
that, I'll make
it's a
another channel for
presentation,
it.
man.
All
I'm being
right. But
serious.
the bottom line is that happened,
If
right?
you
Everybody got their clubs out and they were
have
like,
like
go
a
bash that
single
tranny's
room style
tits in.
apartment and one of the
And
biggest
then
rooms you have is filled with just that,
okay,
you're kind
Kevin
of,
Clausen, $5 super
putting
chat.
it
Your
towards
sound
the
is
wrong
fine,
stuff.
Jade, but
That's
what
my
sounds
opinion.
even better is another $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Mr. Clausen. And so which is like whatever, okay? It's just like, God
It's
damn,
like
like
keeping up with the Joneses.
I don't want
you
to
know what I'm
deal
saying?
with that. Like, I don't really care. But what's funny is it just shows how like stupid and mob mentality people get when certain things happen. And you have content creators posting really negative stuff about that, right? Like, really. And then you have other content creators who aren't saying anything. They're just like, yeah, screw it. She's good. And which is fine. But what I'm saying is, like, you have all this different stuff going on in the community. And then Arcade went up. Where are they? They had no stance whatsoever. John says, I think he tweeted that he
Because someone's got size D's
is an
and
ally of the LGBTQ.
I guess he
And
just
that
thinks
was
that.
nice. Like, it was a nice gesture.
That's a great point.
But again,
That
like,
makes no sense.
that's something that I don't really like clanning up, if that makes
I need to go
sense.
find your merch.
Okay.
Well, I like your artwork.
I don't really like clanning up, and I don't care how ignorant people are. I'm not gonna make it like the focus of my thing. All right. Was it crappy? Like, did it kind of bother me a little bit? Like, yeah, it just bothered me because it was like taking away from like what the whole community and the channel thing was about. And then the community kind of came together a little bit and was like, no, that's not okay. Like, the actual community was like,
The
that's not
community came
okay,
together
whatever.
for 3
And yeah,
seconds.
so I don't
3
want to
fucking
like go
seconds.
down this
I
road
wouldn't even say that.
and beat a dead horse, but I'm just, again, this is for context. And Arcade Went Up was nowhere. So there was a lot of good people in the community who actually came forward during that and were like,
Yeah, because
not
didn't he
cool,
say
whatever.
that
And
his
I'm very
money was
appreciative
supposed to
of
go
that. Like, I was very appreciative
back
of a
towards
lot
the
of people's
channel or
support.
some silliness?
But again, it's like not something that like I
But
feel
he's
like needs to
admitted
be
that
talked
kind of.
about. It's not a big deal. And so on. So Arcade Went Up, though,
One
nowhere to
person
be
ain't
found.
mighty when the
Right?
rest
Nothing to say about
don't
it.
follow.
All right, that whole
Your
thing that happened
platform
with
versus others is,
UAG
not even a
and what
blink.
he did,
That's what she's speaking on.
a
So
lot
she
of people were
appreciates the
judging
support,
him and just,
I'm sure.
I get the fact that he's an
But if
arcade,
someone's
like a
got like,
YouTuber who covered Arcade One Up
20,000
stuff.
followers and then they
And from
join the
that
fucking shit,
perspective,
that's
I
pretty much
agree
consent.
that he should not have put himself in a position where he got involved in something like that. And then,
Shit, I don't even know who she's talking about now.
like it basically exposed himself. That's not a good look. But it's just, that's another thing about the community. The community goes from content creator to content creator, casting judgment on all these people, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, please, Jesus, come and teach me your ways, okay? Because I see you're so perfect that you can just judge what everybody does. All right.
Yeah,
I don't agree with what UAG
they
did.
don't care about
And
the
I don't
quality of
like,
the
I do
people who
think
are
that
sub to
Arcade
them.
One
They
Up
just
had a
care about the numbers,
responsibility to
and that
say,
says a lot about them.
at the very least, they
Yeah,
could have made a
and that's
statement and
bullshit.
said, we did not condone
That's
this.
just foul.
We,
Who gives a fuck?
whatever their small explanation
Lose
is like,
every
we don't
fucking
condone
follower
this
if they're
kind of
all
behavior.
crap.
We're
Let 'em
aware of
go.
what happened and blah. That's it. They could have made some sort of statement. And it was the same thing with Blitz. It was the same thing with
Right.
NBC2.
When's the
They
last time
could
you
have
were
made
promoted,
some
Moat?
sort of statement about it. They could have been professional about it. But that is one thing that they are lacking, is professionalism. And everybody's like, Arcade went up the community. The community supports itself, and it also abuses itself. Holy crap, Joel. Shout out to Jade for the dope AF content with the $50 super chat. Thanks. Thanks, man. So, okay. That was awesome. Thank you.
That's nice of them.
So anyways, they don't support the community. The community supports itself, okay? We are the ones who support each other, all right? And if everybody's shitting on each other, if all the content creators are shitting on each other and the viewers are shitting on the content creators, I mean, we're all just sitting in our own shit, right? Is that what's going on?
Do love me some good shit.
And Thor KC says, great points, but of course, when they finally do make a statement, it's something about virtual high fives, and we're back to square one. Right.
Bam.
What does AF stand for? As fudge. As fug. Kevin Clausen says, I appreciate you having this talk, Jade. This is therapeutic. Great to hear your feelings. I still support the YouTube shows that I watch, but
exactly.
Different perspective. Okay.
I don't disagree with what she said so far.
Yes, alien tech, correct. So Arcade One Up is not doing anything about it. All right. Same thing when we find out that Danny, you like to use, like his vocabulary consisted of the N-word every other word. And it doesn't matter if it ends with an or an ER. It doesn't matter. It's still,
if it's derogatory, it's derogatory.
And I mean, as far as I know, as far as my experience has been, it's just kind of like a cultural thing. Like, that word doesn't belong to you. And so to have that as like your every other word on Twitter and public posts, and then Arcade One Up to kind of be still gravitating to that content creator is just, it doesn't make any, it's just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, he was just a kid, only 28 years old. Yeah, he was only 28 years old. Technically, that is like still a kid. It doesn't matter though. I mean, it doesn't matter because you're legally, you're a grown ass man, and the bottom line is that it was done, and it was brought, and now it's brought up in a public forum, okay? And a professional level company is basically still, gravitating towards this person.
Akumarev. See, the issue I have with him right now is that he said the same thing
just
to
has
me,
very
and
like
he tried to come from
redundant
me
and
when I said I don't agree with the word usage at all. She just said it too.
Just not informative,
and he tried trolling me about it.
Like
he tried to put us in a circumstance where he said,
yeah, 20. Okay, sarcasm. Sorry,
only one.
I'm like going through these quick, and I'm trying to like keep my thought process going back in a second.
Blah blah blah's usage, but I made it clear that nobody should say it, and he still did that crap. So he was trying to put me in a no-win situation.
And then they didn't.
And then he tried to make it only about somehow he tried to make it about
their product. They didn't even promote it. I mean, I don't care.
Like,
but they didn't promote
it. Nothing was about
UAG.
Why are you bringing up fucking UAG?
All right.
Like,
John was.
I'm talking about my incident.
John was the one who got it to me
early. Just trolling me.
Technically,
so I didn't appreciate his ill intent there.
It barely made it to me early, and he had to like jump through hoops to do all that stuff. And he really cared about what my opinion about that product was. And I said what I thought about it. Being an owner of the real arcade and coming to that, like, I said what I thought about it. And that was my opinion. And people were like, oh, you weren't very hard on it. Like, oh, you were way harder on KI Pro. Well, that's because KI Pro.
I'm sorry to disagree. You know why?
About it was software.
But who needs the other people?
Was trash. Okay.
Make our own.
It was fire fuel. That's it. All right. And I ended up emailing Arcade One Up and saying like, dude, you guys need to give me like a refund for this or something. Like, this thing is hot garbage. And I pointed out several different issues. And ultimately they ended up giving me like I don't know what it was, like $150 refund or something. Um, but anyways, yeah. And so you know, and going back to John, like he's the scapegoat of the community. You know, like everything is John's fault or
Everything,
everything.
exactly.
It's like
That's ridiculous.
the level of ignorance and
What does John
miseducation
have
in
to
the
do with any
community
of the shit?
is so far
Like him or
beyond.
hate
It's
him?
no
What did he?
wonder
He wasn't
that
the end
everybody's like
factor. He
circle
wasn't the
crapping on each
ultimate
other
decision
and we're all
maker.
sitting in our own, liquid shit.
They just had a
Because
face to attack,
this is what
and
it's
it was
come
easy
down
to
to.
make him the bad guy.
A bunch of grown-ups who are afraid to do what either they think is right, what they want to do, or say what they
Bam.
want to say in a way where
Like who made it negative
they're
to
being
begin with?
like professional about it.
And then they're the
And
ones
I mean, again,
fighting the
that goes
most
back
to
to like
use it.
Rexer.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
he's a jerk sometimes. And in the past, I've called him out on a lot of stuff that I don't agree with. And now it's just like whatever. Like he's gonna say what he's gonna say. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. Like that's that. But whether it's true or not, people can do their own research. I'm not, I'm it's not. But when it comes to me specifically, and I had to learn, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference because in the community, in the space, people are going to just be lazy. And they like the drama. As much as people say and leave comments like this drama is ridiculous, like, oh, this drama, grown people like acting this way. Like, as much as people say that, oh my God, they love to watch it. They love it. They love to watch it. And Rexer has strong opinions he's going to share. Yes. And that's the thing though. Most of it is opinions and he acts like it's facts and that's just not true.
Opinions
But
are
again, like
facts
I'm
and
not
lies
here to
are
like go
lies.
into that because guess what? There's tons of other channels that are doing that claim to be the good guys. And so yeah. You're not wrong about the content being fluffy. But to be honest, I'm here for lighter topics. If I want to be serious, I'd be focused on work like I'm supposed to. And
then don't watch.
And that's that's fine. But what I'm saying is like in a community, it should be something that where the content creators and the people support each other. And I get it that is like not an ideal situation. But what I mean is like the higher percentage of things should be that way. But unfortunately, and this is what I've learned about the Arcade 1UP community, is that it's not. Content creators get jealous. They get jealous. They want clout. They don't want to give clout to certain people.
Bam.
They don't want certain people to get more subs or views than they do. And they get upset about things like that.
I know another word.
And
deceitful.
it all revolves around
Deceitful.
jealousy and monetary gain. And it's like, dude, we're all people who are like in our 40s or 50s, and you're not getting anything. Like you're not getting YouTube fame from Arcade 1UP. Wake up call. Nothing about you're not going to get YouTube fame from Arcade 1UP. Okay. If you were here in the COVID time frame, you might have had a chance to get like some subs and to do something. But another wake up call, there was a lot of BS drama that happened then too. Okay. And Arcade 1UP had nothing to say about it. And a lot of it was centered around what was going on with John D and the people that were working with him and Arcade 1UP at that time. Okay. But it's not, the Arcade 1UP is not even remotely close to what it was then. It's something completely different now. The company itself as a whole is just much bigger. It's much more developed. It's not just a Kickstarter project anymore. Like it's a full-blown, subsidiary of Tastemakers,
a lot of people are mad at John D is because he gave
let me see.
not
I'm
the
sorry.
Typical people a platform.
Ambitious and lazy.
Even if
ambitious
people that he gave a platform to ended up not being all that great.
Worst.
Worst. He still didn't let
that's my opinion. Like that's the worst form
and
of
that's
content
where
creation.
they got pissed at him, I believe.
So
is right. Even the people that
let's see. I
they
agree,
didn't like,
Jade. For
he
me,
would still
Rexer seems to
speak
come
to.
across so hateful. Some may disagree. Yeah, absolutely. He can be hateful sometimes. But he at least like knows about arcades and games and stuff. But again, it's like, what good is that if you're just like, peeing on everybody all the time? So there's a fine line. But regardless, like I said in the beginning, I'm not going to hate on him because there's people who are supposed to be the good guys who are doing all the same crap. Okay? There's people who are doing all the same crap. And I'm not going to like hide from
exactly
things that I've said like in the past. Riddick's Classic Arcade is in here. What's up, Riddick? When I get sucked into the vortex of this company, when I started reviewing, I was shocked at the childish drama around it. Not my idea of entertainment. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing with me is that I'm like very of like a fighting mindset. Like I hate when people lie, and I like it's more of like when people lie about other people.
Is it hidden?
It's so annoying. But when people lie and mislead like a large audience, that's something that just like really gets under my skin. And that's another thing that I've had to learn to let go of the longer that I've been on YouTube. Is like, I mean, I don't care what viewers say ever. If I had like a friendly relationship with somebody as a content creator, and
let's see here.
And then I was like betrayed in one way or another, then that's when I feel like it's more personal. That's when it matters more to me. And so that's generally when you'll see me like defend myself or something. Now I just don't put myself in that kind of a position.
Is it because
I don't put myself in a position where I'm going to thank you, Jason, for the 10 memberships.
Weird.
I think that's the second time. That's the second time you've done that. Thank you. But I'm not gonna. Now I know not to put myself in that kind of a position, and just to be ready to like see stupid comments or people make videos where they think they're saying something that's true.
People can hate on John, but he gave opportunities to people. That's a fact. Even like I said, even the people that we didn't agree with, right?
The bottom line,
and that's not because
that Arcade One Up
that
as
person
a company,
because of that.
It's
because he still saw something in people
about the YouTube community. And
what
for
they
people
did
saying that
with
they're
it was on
them.
Business,
let me tell you why they're not going to go out of business, or why they'll change to something else.
Exactly, man.
Because
facts.
For one thing, they own way too many licenses.
In group chats,
they own way too many licenses. Okay,
we would be shooting the crap on certain people. Would only ask about Cavs.
Excuse me.
They own way too many licenses because
they have way too many relationships with
because only you guys would have had those
companies out there that are doing stuff in retro gaming and who want to make money and who want to have their licensed stuff out there as on an arcade platform.
Sounds like
because they know that they're going to make money.
Snake,
right? And they're the ones that are going to make
name drop,
it's more lucrative for them, or it's more opportunistic for them. Okay, because if they don't get the minimum guarantee, then what does that mean? Oh, that means that it's like being thanks again, Kevin and Jason, for that. It's like being incarcerated, where you have to learn 100 people's personalities all in one day. It could be overwhelming. Okay, so
every A1 fan believes John D affected how the company is doing presently.
I never bought into.
But remember, he was one of the
so they're not going out of business.
That secured a lot of licenses that folks at the table
and they own too many licenses. Okay, the licenses didn't leave with John.
If you're going to say somebody
made
the company
to
bad,
people in those companies,
then you're also going to have
relationships
to acknowledge
with people in those companies where it could affect Arcade One Up.
Be able to address that.
And that's not speculative. Like the licenses just don't leave; they don't just disappear.
Like,
because John left.
Good.
Okay, it's not
He's
the way it works.
To other demographics.
Does he have access to those
Good
people
job.
and know what their itinerary is. The itinerary is
He's
as
a
far as Arcade
fool
1-Up
who
licensing is
didn't want to
concerned.
respond to
Yes.
his freaking
All right.
worker
There was a
laughing
leaked
at me
list that came
for
out a
that
while
freaking
ago,
bigoted
which I'm going to
comment.
talk about more in a little bit.
It's not
But
hard.
if you guys remember the list of games that were on there, you know, I think Travis or maybe Mike B said something about it being not like it
Damn, that
wasn't
sucks.
fully accurate.
Who
Like
had that shit on their fucking
what I can tell you
computer?
is that
That sucks.
it was like a lot of that stuff was.
I probably would have ran with it too. Shit.
I don't want to say this incorrectly, but something along the lines of market research.
Exactly.
Okay, like they can have basically
Bam.
ideas of what
Any
they want
in for
to
me,
do and then present them
unless
and get
something
like
was truly
pre-approval
revealed
for them.
that was
Okay,
malicious.
so that list
Last I checked,
wasn't
I'm a
like
grown-ass man
by
and I
any
can
means
talk
like
to
a
whoever
final
the
approval
fuck I
of what
want
was going
to.
to be coming out. But I do know, and
You
most
know.
people know that
Now, if y'all
Travis
want to
has
do
always
this
said
thing where
like
you try
that
not to step
he's
on each
going
other's
to
toes at
work for
times or
Arcade
whatever,
1-Up
that's kind of
until
on
at
y'all.
least like they get Tekken
But
Cam out,
at
right?
the same time, you can't be mad if somebody goes.
So take that for what it's worth.
There is an agenda in the sense
We'll go
that
back
these
there in
top,
a bit.
5 to 6 folks are working with each other to,
let's see,
put out
102,
their own
like the old Depeche Mode
positions.
song, everything
That's just
counts
true.
in
Doesn't
large
mean that
amounts.
you're lying about
Same
it.
goes with followers,
it's
viewers,
true.
etc. Right.
If that's the case.
So
I know some people will go too far.
So yeah, it's okay. So licensing, no, it didn't leave.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I
That's
see
my
these things on
criticism.
Reddit
You never addressed it, period, ever.
where it's like
You wrote me
people
some bullshit email and never got back with me.
basically speculating on what a content creator speculated on, and the speculation of the content creator or the explanation that they gave wasn't even
And
correct.
I
Like
think
people do
very
this
low of him for
roundabout,
that.
like beat around the bush thing, and this is why I don't normally talk about Arcade 1-Up anymore, because I don't like the stigma that comes with the company. I don't like the stigma that comes with the company. I don't like the people that the company allows. I don't like what the people do that the company allows to represent them. And I don't like the crowd that go into certain places in the Arcade 1-Up community. And so I don't like, for the most part, I don't want to be involved in that.
Kinda
If I
did.
do something based around Arcade
But
1-Up, it's going to be
he
because
was
I'm
a jackass
curious
about
about it. And
He
I want to
goes,
see,
I'm
if
gonna
it's
try to
gotten
find the
better or
source
how it
of
turned
the
out or
blah blah
whatever,
blah.
or it's
Are
going to
you
be because I'm
freaking
doing a
loony?
mod. Like those are the two
You
reasons.
Okay. You saw what happened. So don't freaking
And the Fast and
gaslight me
Furious
and
was
try
a
to get to
perfect
this. We're gonna
example
investigate shit. You know
because
what the fuck happened.
I was curious to see how it, compared to the arcade version as far as what they had done and how they, downscaled it or whatever. And anyways, so let me take a breath here and let me read JJ's comment. Oh, Paul says John D understands the licensing probably better than anyone, including when they expire. Yeah. JJ 2 of 2, money is hard to ignore and being totally impartial is rare. Some will say, I'm being transparent because they are admitting to that, but still it's got to be an influence. Yeah. Hands grab all they can. Yeah, just say it. Jade, you're into pinball now. Yeah, no. Pins are cool though, but no. So okay. I'm gonna circle back to the whole licensing and John D thing and kind of like tie that off. Right.
You know what's funny is that I
His
remember
relationship with those companies, with those people,
I think
may
Becon covering
affect Arcade 1-Up in the
pinball
long
in the
run,
history of
but
pinball.
ultimately it's about
I think
money
you would
and
be
it's
hard
about
pressed to find
the
people
minimum
that look like
guarantee,
me into
and then all
pinball.
these
Not because pinball's
other
not good.
companies that
It's
Arcade
because we
1-Up
don't
is in
have the
bed with.
nostalgia for
Okay,
it.
I mean,
And Kong
people don't even think
covered
about
why
like the
people
big
like us don't
companies, like
have
the really
nostalgia for
rich
pinball
companies that they're doing these
because
crossovers
how they
with, like the
position
MVC2 cab.
the
Everybody
machines in
complained
only
about the
affluent
price on that, and
neighborhoods.
it's like, well, what do you expect? It's
You
a
know,
brand name. Okay, you can buy the shittiest shoes that were made in China, but if they're officially made in Nike's sweatshop, then people have no problem paying $120 for them. All right. And it's the same thing. It's the same exact principle with Arcade 1-Up. And these are all things that people really don't consider when they're looking at it, when they're looking at the company as a whole. All right. And again, you have the community underneath the YouTubers who
What
are just
year?
like literally foaming at the mouth,
What
literally foaming at
generation
the
you
mouth.
in?
And
Are
then
you
some of the
80s
content
baby?
creators
Like
who are just
1980
foaming
or
at the mouth to
89?
get
How
the
old are
next
you?
product or to get
And where
arcade
did you grow
one
up
up,
playing pinball? Now,
in
I'm
their
not saying you
good
never played
favor.
pinball, but where did you
And
grow
it's
up
like,
where there was just like, oh yeah, I
it's
remember
like,
this
dude, first of
pinball,
all,
and it was my favorite
there's
pinball
probably
growing up.
only, a couple
Because
channels in the
I stopped
arcade one
seeing
up
them
community that
around
people watch, and it's either
like mid
A,
90s or
for
something like
just
that,
purely for
and
entertainment
there's only
value,
maybe like
or
one or two at
because there's a
best,
woman there,
and then the ones
you
that were
know,
there were always
or
broke,
B,
and
because
it wasn't
they
the
think that
greatest
that's the only
experience.
place where they can get news, and that's just
90s makes
it's
sense.
not true. So, it's only partially true, and it's
And there's a
unfortunate
reason for that,
because,
my man.
again, like I think that
That's what I'm trying to say.
a lot
Is
of the
that
big time, big channel
people who look
content
like
creators,
me
they always want to stay out of
aren't
things, but
necessarily,
then they're
won't
making
probably
videos
find too many
complaining
of
about
us that
how,
go, oh yeah,
people
this is
talk,
what I remember. Like,
oh,
we'll
this person
remember the
said
double
this about
dragons, the
me,
bad
and
dudes, the
whatever.
gaslight,
Like, who
the
cares?
gas station,
Who cares?
uh,
Who cares that that person said whatever?
games,
Like, look at this little
Zookeeper,
shit YouTube
shit like
channel
that,
that
Willow.
has 2,000
But
viewers.
I
They
think you'd
said
be very
what
hard
about your
pressed to talk about
30,000 viewer
pinball
channel
being
or your
your childhood
40,000 viewer
memory,
channel? Oh my
unless
God, you
you lived
guys.
in certain
Oh my
neighborhoods.
God. Sue them for defamation because your channel is ruined now. All right. And this whole like thing about like suing people, Jesus Christ, get over yourselves, man.
Yeah, not gonna happen, dipshits. Not gonna fucking happen.
My dog's barking at me.
You're allowed to talk. It's called freedom of
So
speech. You
that's
dumb
another thing that
motherfuckers.
I just really irks me and I don't understand. But I don't want to be personally like in its entirety, like my channel to be lumped into that, dude. Um Again, it's my channel's a gaming channel. Right now, why am I doing this? Because I watch all this stuff and it's like I told you guys. I come on here and I my goal is to like give clarity and make things a little bit more clear so people can have context and really understand what's
First off,
going on. People are people,
a
so
lawsuit has to
why
be
would it
real to even
be
come to
Depeche
fruition.
Mode rocks?
There's no
Depeche Mode
no
is
one worth a
awesome.
damn is going to take you up on a frivolous
Hold
lawsuit.
on,
And
sorry, I'm
then
gonna read these
even
comments
if
real
it
quick.
happens,
Uh,
you'd be
see if I'm
hard
missing
pressed to find a
anything.
judge that's going to go with your bullshit.
YouTube.
You know what I mean? You're not going to just go to some jury and then people are going to go,
JJ.
oh, he said that I
says
was a piece of shit on
YouTubers are
YouTube.
Jade, 19K
That's not
Fox,
how this
Mega
works, you
Beach,
dumbass.
Nostalgia Kongs, Case and Console Kits.
I can call you whatever the
Custom
fuck I
console
want.
kits. Yeah, but again, if I see a content creator who
So it's
is
pretty funny when they
supporting
try to
really
scare.
shitty behavior that's going on in the community, then automatically I'm like, I don't trust
Then it's
that
like a
person
year later. It's like,
because
where's
I
that
know what's
lawsuit, you
going on
stupid
behind the
shit?
scenes. I've been
You said that
behind the
last year,
scenes.
you dumbass.
I've heard and seen
Try
what
again.
people are saying, and I like it's like, dude. So not only that, but then you support like this
Rex just said that
total
stupid
piece
shit to
of
me. He said,
garbage in the
I sued
community, or
A1
these
up. I'm like,
total
yeah, and you
pieces of
lost, you
garbage
dumb
in the
shit.
community, or
What's the
you
result
don't
on
say
the
anything about
A1 up
it.
lawsuit?
Like, a community
You
is
think people
supposed
were
to
going to
protect
fucking
itself, and
ask for
I've
a
talked
checkup?
about this a lot.
Fuck out of here,
I'm not going to
man.
beat a dead horse with it, but like, it's supposed to support itself, and this community does absolutely the opposite. Shits all over itself and then just swims in its shit. And so people get upset, and the whole "you're causing drama," blah blah blah. No, I'm just telling you the truth about the situation. Okay, I'm just telling you the truth about what's going on. I'm telling you the facts
People are
about
quick to
what I
call,
was told and
say
what
she's
I know
starting
about
drama,
Arcade One
but
Up's
don't address the
licensing.
people who actually
And
started it.
I
It's the weirdest
can send
mentality.
you to all kinds of different places where you can
Motherfucker go walk
find a
down the
lot of
street,
this
shoot somebody in the
information, or where
head,
you
and
can see John
person calls
himself saying
911,
it.
and they're gonna basically come at the person who called 911 and said they're the drama
Connect all the
starter.
dots, or make a spider web out of it, whatever. That's a great visual. You're welcome. But that's what it's like. That's what it's like. And of course, the whole entire community is not like the whole entire Arcade One Up community is not like festering with negativity and negative people. But it's like there's so much of it that it kind of like overshadows that. And this is why, because it all comes down to greed. It all comes down to wanting recognition and being in the spotlight. It comes down to money. It comes down to wanting new cabinets. I mean, I see the comments that people leave in like Arcade One Up chats, and I'm just like, good God, dude, like, shut up. Why does anybody like stop asking the same questions? Like, no, Primal Rage isn't coming. No, like, stop. Like it's, you see all these repetitive, like the same behaviors, and it's like the same people, and it's like, dude, the community does not have to tolerate that. Like, I don't know if people know this, but you don't have to tolerate that. You don't have to tolerate that kind of behavior. You don't have to endorse it, because what you do by not saying anything is you endorse it. And endorsing that kind of behavior is not, it's not a good look. And there's a lot of people who don't want to be around it. There's a lot of people who love that kind of stuff and will gravitate towards it. And that's what happens, is when there's shit, all the flies want to come and eat it and hang out there. All right. And that is how the Arcade One Up community seems to me. That's how it's become. There may have been a time when it was good and it was fun, and it was probably like me, I arrived like at the very end of that. And there was a time where it was fun and good, and then this is what it's become. And now you guys are seeing like way more than like viewers should see, or the content creator interactions are like way more than like typical stuff. And it's mind-blowing to me. But it's like people are, the problem is that people made all these friendships, and then they get betrayed, and now they feel like, so woed by it that they have to react to it and do something about it. But the problem really comes in when you have people or content creators who are completely lying, like literally completely lying about other content creators. Skinny puppy's hardcore.
Yeah,
Completely lying about other content creators, completely lying about products or knowledge of products, shifting people's visuals in another direction for the company or whatever. And I just think that Arcade One Up needs to take a stance as a company, as a professional company that sells these products to a global audience. They need to take a stand, because the Arcade One Up space, again, if you look at who's in it, there's a very the seed at the center of the community, the core of it, revolves around basically about 4 YouTubers, probably.
Say it.
Okay,
We all know
that
who
actually matter when it comes to I missed some good times in 2020. I just wasn't I wasn't on YouTube as a content creator then, but I do remember. But what's at the core? The core is basically rotting. The core of the Arcade One Up YouTube community and space is basically rotting. Okay. Riddick says, I completely avoid the Arcade One Up scene. Other than your channel these days, you are a game channel, not a One Up channel like myself. The One Up scene isn't all terrible, but it's enough to turn me off from it. Yeah, exactly. And so coming back to what's going on for 2024 and what people have been doing, I think that the viewers and the content creators need to wake up and cut the shit. Like, grow a pair and just do what's right when it comes to information that you're passing about Arcade One Up, and do more than just Arcade One Up, man. Like, I don't know why, like, everything is so centered around that. Like, you guys already have an audience. Just do more. And for the channels that are just here to get clout because you want to be famous, like, for the love of God, just stop doing content, please, or get good at it and know what you're talking about. because that's just another one of those things that's just so all right, and then the arcade went up. Here's another thing, like they've also promoted channels and content that are just trash. Like their marketing is substandard, isn't a good enough word for their marketing. It's like hot molten basura. Okay, that's what their marketing is like. They rely on basically downloading other people's content and using that instead of hiring people who
what's up with
actually
that?
know how to make good videos or
They
to
just take
make stuff
other
that's
people's shit like
eye-catching
that
enough
and then put it on their
for them
Facebook. It's weird.
to use. And then on top of that, on top of their terrible marketing, they promote channels that are sick, like actual, like just sick. Like they use people who are twisted, dude, to like use, and I'm not talking about twisted gaming. I'm talking about, for example, like when they announced Mortal Kombat Spectate, they
Who's that?
used Console Fanboy's what is jingle that he has like at the end of his videos. Like, why would you do that, man? Like, why would you do that after everything that had just happened at that
Well, there you have
time?
it, Toxin.
They did that. Travis did that. And that, like, how tone deaf is that?
Oh
How
boy.
tone deaf is it to do something like that for a company? Like multiple times Arcade 1-Up has done extremely tone deaf things, and it's like
They posted SHELION's
will you guys like
game
set
up?
the record straight? Please be professionals and like set the record straight. What is it that you do and don't support? What is it that you
I
want
need
for
to
your
find
consumer
this
base?
because I'm
What
gonna
kind of
have like this
relationship do
clip
you have with the
of
YouTube
her side by
community?
side.
And what kind of
Showing it
relationship
off.
you want to have with the YouTube community? And this is a reason why a lot of toxicity exists in the community, because they're not involved. They're really not involved. And Travis being
You said it's
involved,
on their
well, that's
Facebook,
no good anymore,
like their
because now he's
main one,
paid
or the
and he
group.
has relationships with a lot of YouTubers who he just uses or who he used in the past. Sorry to say, but that's the way it ended up turning out. And people can say whatever they want and say that it's not true. Go ahead,
Oh, I think she's
please.
segueing.
Say whatever you want, but that's just the way it is now. All right, and that's what it turned into. And so that's not a good representation for Arcade 1-Up, and that's not gonna do much. It's not gonna give people faith and confidence. It's not gonna do anything with the community. And ultimately it's like they started being consistent with having lives where they're interacting with the community, but then it just it went away. It went away when John left, basically. And that was another part where like there was like another step
Bro,
down in the
there they
community,
have it.
where the community
That
got
is crazy.
worse
I need to
because of
download
that.
this.
Well,
I'm gonna take a picture before they take it down.
somebody has to acknowledge this. Somebody has to acknowledge
Okay,
that this is
got it.
happening. If it's not going to be them and it's not going to be
I'm
anybody
sorry.
else, then I'll acknowledge it. I'll just sit here and I'll explain this so that it's in context and it makes sense to people. All right, and that's true, Paul. They do want to sell more units. They do want to sell more units, of course. Like that is their goal. Their goal is to make a profit and to continue doing something that people like enough to where they're going to keep buying their products. They posted my game room video. Yeah, I saw that on my Instagram this morning. Back in a sec.
Did they even ask her permission?
Dark Realm Gaming, you're eating a lot of fruit today. That's good. Very healthy. I thought John D was a cool dude. I never had any problems with John. He was always supportive. He was very kind, very professional. I never had any problems with John.
Oh, what's up with
I've heard rumors about
Shotgun
stuff that's gone on
Sean?
behind the scenes, and
He called her
And that
SHELION.
is what it is. I've heard stories about things that have happened in the past between him and other content creators,
Bruh.
and I've never had that kind of experience with him myself. Not to take away from whatever experiences other
That's
people
messed up,
have
man.
had, but I also think that John's the type of person that it's like how you approach him, which is kind of like me. Like if you approach me and you got a knife out,
Going
like I'm gonna
ghetto and
twist your wrist and break it
Photoshop
off.
or photo
Okay.
in this.
And John's kind of the same way. Um, and so maybe we had that kind of like mutual respect for each other. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I've never had a problem with him, and I'm fruity. I've never had a problem with him, and so that's probably why we got along fine. And I wasn't, constantly like berating him, like begging to work for Arcade One Up. Although I did tell him one time, I said, if you need somebody to manage some marketing ideas for you, like let me know, because your company needs help. Like Arcade One Up needs help with the way that they're
Hold on.
doing
I didn't
things.
get everything, did
And
it?
I think I told him that several times, like their marketing is not good. So give me a second here, guys. There we go. Lighting is kind of fluctuating because it's getting cloudy outside. So let me see.
Why'd you say that, brother?
Okay, so back to what I was saying. They support
What's she
YouTubers,
lying about?
or they have YouTubers make content for them that are not good. Like they're not good people. And the whole community knows that. But the irony of it is that the
A1
whole
Up posted
community
her game
itself
room,
still
and then I'm
allows
looking
that
at
stuff to
her
go on. And the
the
more you
thing, and a
encourage
couple
it, the
people
more
are
you allow
trying
it,
to
the
go in
more
on
it's
her.
going to happen and the more it's going to go on. So like for those who are complaining and
A1 Up.
saying like, "Oh, it's so dramatic and toxic."
Yeah, it was posted on the
If you're
25th.
if you're one of those people that complains and says that like people aren't acting like an adults, well, you're feeding into it just as much then, because the whole thing is that you have people like some of these channels who I don't know, I think
Yeah.
let's see who's where have I seen it. Definitely the Cornercade. Like the Cornercade allows, for example, uh console fanboy to be in his chat, and that just empowers him because he's narcissistic. So that just empowers him. It gives him the idea that, okay, well, I can get away with calling his wife a big tittied slut. And I'm going to then continue to do super chats to get his
So
attention,
Cornercade went
to
on his
glorify
show
myself,
or
to
on,
make
on
reels and
to
videos on. And
Brooklyn's
it just shows
chat
that
and was
he's
like, "Thank you for
supporting him.
defending
He's
me." I'm like,
supporting that kind of behavior. And as
"Did you thank
content
me when
creators,
I told you to your
that kind
fucking
of stuff
face
shouldn't be
after I called
tolerated.
you
I
out
know
for using the
places
N
where
word that
that
I
is
defended
absolutely not
that
tolerated
all
in
our beef
YouTube
started
communities.
because I defended
Content
your
creators do
wife
not allow
and
that kind of
you?
crap in.
Fuck
And
out of
it's
here,
like,
man."
why does it happen here? Because you're that desperate for
It did,
money?
Nate,
You're that
motherfucker.
desperate? Really? That you're gonna tolerate that kind of shit? You're gonna let some guy who called your wife a big tittied slut continue to give you super chats? Good look, dude. I mean, and that's just adds to the list of character deficits that I've seen, which make me not trust people like that. Okay. So it's like it's aggravating, man. Like the community complains, but then they continue to allow the type of behavior to constantly go on and flow, and then people hide and they comment on certain people's stuff, and try to keep it low key, and it's like, well, I hate to break it to you, man, but if you comment on somebody's stuff, like it's visible, so it's not low key anymore. But it's like people are so like it's like being so impulsive, you like literally can't help it. Like that's that's the way that I kind of see a lot of the viewers and some of the content creators in the Arcade One Up community. Um, and yeah, so I mean, his channel allows it. I'm pretty sure that Console Kit's channel allows it. And that's another thing. Like,
Make sure this was even a
I
real
don't know
comment.
about that guy either, because Zohar gave him a picture of me, and I'm not going to go into detail about it, but he gave him a picture of me, and the picture was out there moving around. So I don't know, man. Like, and then to let him back in after hearing him talk so much crap about him and just literally belittle him is like, is it really that bad? Like, are the grown men on here, is their self-esteem level that low? And or are they that desperate for money, which I don't think is the case for all people? Are they that desperate, though, that they'll just continue to allow that crap to go on? And they're like,
I mean,
well,
if you're
it's
asking
just
discount
YouTube.
codes for
Like,
$25,
all right,
just
I
might
guess, like,
be.
I guess verbal and mental abuse don't exist on YouTube. Interesting. Interesting. Torpedo. Playing fighting games is what creates impulsivity, or it just feeds into pre-existing impulsivity. But yeah, I mean, like, it's like an ego thing.
It's
I don't know,
interesting
man.
when I
But
speak to their
anyways, the leak
friends
list, right?
and they
So
talk
everybody was
about
speculating
how,
on this, like, well,
or
what
hell, even
games
the
are coming
videos
out
that
from
I
the
put
leak
out on
list?
them
And
where it's their friends talking. Why is it 3 to 4 of them would go, these guys act like women,
and
or they get no ass?
like, even if there are games coming out from
always the same
that
shit.
list, like, so what? What's going to happen next? Then it's going to be like, all right, we immediately get the names for these games that are coming out, but what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And when people say that they're just here to have fun, or that they're just here, to have their arcade machines or talk about their game rooms, and then those same people are going around leaving comments on other people's channels about, like, oh yeah, you guys are right on. Oh yeah, that person's a piece of shit. Oh yeah,
Right.
blah 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 blah. You know what? That's pretty hypocritical, pretty ironic.
Bam.
Jade is going to share her list.
It's a fact,
And another
man.
thing, all right, I'm going to talk about one of the games right now. Okay, Robotron 2084.
What movie are you gonna go watch?
Is one that they've been teasing for a long time. Okay, and according to the information that I received, Robotron 2084 was supposed to come out in a deluxe or XL or both. And one of the immediate questions that I had, because everybody's mouth is watering over it, is like, well, if that comes out, like, how are people going to play it? Because it's 2 joysticks. Like, their cabs can be very wobbly, especially if your floor is slightly uneven, or you don't put the cab together right, which a lot of people don't put the cabs together right, by the way. And then the cab wobbles, and they're like, oh, this cab's so wobbly. You know why it's wobbly? Because you're an idiot and you didn't put it together right. Okay, because you don't know how to do it. And
what movie are you gonna go see, Carl?
So it's and they're not heavy cabs. Like, what are you gonna do? Put like a couple bricks at the bottom of it? I mean, you're gonna have to weight it down somehow. Like, people would play the original Robotron arcade, and literally, like, that thing would be like, scooting, because they'd be like hitting those joysticks so hard. But yeah, I mean, Robotron 2084 was supposed to be one that was going to come out, and at first they were having a hard time with market buy-in. They were having a hard time with market buy-in. The retailers were like, oh no, there's not enough, basically they didn't want to take the risk on a minimum guarantee for Robotron 2084. So, that just goes to show you how negligent they are. And then it's like, okay, well, who's pitching this stuff to them? Who's talking to them about it? Because obviously, like, Robotron 2084 is one of those games that it's like, they want to come out with Joust, but then they're like, no Robotron. Okay. So
I have not seen this,
but they have the license to
I am
Robotron.
Always down for a good
Arcade
Vincent
1UP
Price.
has the license to Robotron, and they had the proposed cab. They could do it, and my understanding was that in 2024, or early 2025, that there was going to be a Robotron cab. So let me read the comments here real quick. Jade, I want to see you play Super Mario World after being upset. Oh, I'm not upset at all. I'm just being boisterous.
I want to see it
Jade is
too.
going to share her list. Yep. That's why their wives put them together.
Oh,
That's another funny one.
that's pretty good.
Wife approval. Okay, gaming. Wait, did I miss?
Okay, so they got more than one. It's like
Where is
a
that? Because Rev, I see you responding to
two-parter.
Mensa. Not in fighting game. Where am I? Am I like blind right now? Yes, I'm blind. Oops. Okay. I'll have to look back. All right. And then we have Killer Instinct comes out, and that's all anyone could say. What's next? Right. You have to have a successful sales pitch to get them to buy. If you don't have the sauce, then you don't have the sauce, period. True.
What the hell is Akuma talking
Yeah,
about?
so anyways, Robotron 2084 is one that is supposed to come out. Like, it's supposed to happen sometime this year or early 2025. And
Like, did I even address his ass?
and I'll get into the next one in a bit here. I love twin stick shooters. Yeah. Okay, so what am I going? Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I have really bad tinnitus. Ouch. That was weird. Okay, so what am I going to cook tonight? Salmon with Spanish rice, a glass of red wine. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Yes, they like to watch in their personal lives. But again, that's something. These are things that can literally be discussed, or Arcade One Up can
The
hire a
fuck is he talking
professional
about?
to make a
He's lost his fucking mind.
talking about. And I'm not talking about like the videos with Cyrus in them, because I mean, it's literally like you could give a kindergartner a camera and tell them to press the record button while it's sitting on a stand, and then put it through their little, pink toy iPad where they edit it. And that's what you
is
get.
this guy picking a fight with me? What the fuck?
But I'm not talking about like broad strokes. I'm talking about, upcoming product releases, things that they're working on, stuff like press releases every once in a while, stuff that like Apple does and companies like that. Yes, they're not Apple, they're not Microsoft, they're not this huge monolithic company, but they're big enough now
Yeah, what
where
did
they
he?
can be doing
What
stuff
did
like
you know?
that,
What
and they
else
could have
said
been
he
doing
did
it
for
for a while.
him to come at him like that?
They could have been doing it for a while. To update the community, because obviously the community is just beside
Felt the
itself.
anger on that.
You've got people running around, screaming, foaming at the mouth, hucking their crap at other people, and nobody like knows what's going on. Like, it's like everybody just wants to go to the audience for the Arcade One Up community is just like the audience. I mean, for just like the audience for the product, just
As
wants
far
to
as I
go
know,
to the next
that was
thing.
his job.
Which is why a lot of these content creators get support, because the audience is just going from one thing to the next. They don't care who that person is or what they've done. It doesn't matter to them. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it's bait. She doesn't see it sometimes.
And again, back to Rexer's channel that gets a lot of hate. The Arcade One Up community is just, his channel is a perfect reflection of the community's behavior and what's going on in the community. And like I said, I don't have any hate for him. I don't always agree with the stuff that he says, or sometimes I know it's not correct, but that is what it is. But his channel is no worse than any of the major Arcade One Up YouTubers that are out there right now.
As much as
I like
disagree with the
people who
guy,
are calling him a bad guy and saying like, people are saying stuff about them.
A lot of them do the same
If you know
shit.
something somebody's saying about you, isn't true at this point, it's like, you've been doing YouTube for this long, you have a huge subscriber base. It's like, just let it go. Just let it go, because you're not going to win that fight. You're not going to win that fight. If you go out and you do something, do it with the expectation that nothing's going to happen, that you're not going to get any support, and that you're going to see the same people that are in your chat in other chats, because that's the reality of the Arcade One Up community, is
Mhm.
that there is a tolerance level like an alcoholic has to 8 bottles of bourbon every day. Okay. Like that's what the tolerance level is like in the community, and it's toxic. All right. The spotted liver on that alcoholic, that's what the Arcade One Up YouTube community is. Anybody who tells you otherwise, they're they're lying, or they don't know what they're talking about, or they haven't been in the Arcade One Up and seen the Arcade One Up community long enough to know or have enough context about what goes on behind closed doors. So let me see. Just play Robotron on Xbox. Rex opened my eyes to things I thought was going on, but no one ever seemed to address. Um,
Like
do do
fucking
do
what?
do Mensa. Um, Jade is spitting truth. Robotron 2084 mod kit available summer 2024. Sandbags, 22 wooden screws, and glue it. Yeah. Uh, but anyways, I mean, yeah. So if the community continues to support that behavior, like the viewers continue to support that behavior, and then the content creators continue to support that behavior, it's never going to fix itself. It's just never going to fix itself. And people aren't going to want to talk about what they know or give the full piece of truth, because they they want to be able to drag it out. They want to be able to hold out. And who behind the scenes, like I said, I don't know. Like Travis could be behind the scenes, because I really don't know now. This is just purely speculation. Travis could be behind the scenes pulling strings with some of the more, some of the bigger content creators, maybe even some of the small ones, and giving them information. um and and that is what it is. So he could be dropping crumbs to them, and that may be all they know at the moment. And then when things change, they look stupid. And you know, it's not really their fault, but it is, because they took the breadcrumbs in the first place. And once you take those breadcrumbs, it's over. Like it's over. You're taking those breadcrumbs. So it's either let people know, like have some sort of disclaimer in there that like gives you a buffer that says like that this isn't a for sure thing, but this is the latest information from the development team or from X, Y, and Z, as far as content creators go. But again, Arcade One Up needs to set up a professional level thing on their channel, where they're having somebody who knows what they're talking about create content and come on and do 10 to 15-minute videos where they're talking about stuff for quarter 1, stuff for quarter 2, stuff for quarter 3. Then maybe the community would stop like foaming at the mouth. It's like when weed was illegal in California, you had a lot of people, a lot of people were getting in trouble, and there was more problems with it. And now that it's legal, like you really don't have those problems. And it's the same thing. Like it's the same thing. Like where do you get it? Where do you find it? You have to jump through hoops to get it. And now you just walk into a store and get it if you want to do that. And so that's like the same thing to me. But instead they're doing the exact opposite. They're trying to have other people who are getting information like second or third hand, uh, talk about stuff. And again, Travis just disappeared into thin air, and it's not doing well. It's not doing well for the community. It doesn't bode well. And again, they've supported just you know hot garbage when it comes to some of the content creators that they choose to work with openly, and then they have nothing to say about it. And they're gonna get away with it. Like, nobody's holding Arcade One Up accountable. They're not gonna be able to. Like, newsflash for anybody. No one is going to be able to hold Arcade One Up accountable for anything they do. You know why? Because they don't acknowledge anything, because they don't care about the community, and because it basically trickles down to the content creators. That's the reality of the situation. And people want to talk about and speculate on things, and it's like, if you can't tell that the company is changing and might be going in a different direction, you might want to buckle up, because to me, that's what looks like happening. The company's not going out of business. They're not disappearing. They're not vanishing into thin air. And the licenses aren't gone, but they're going to have to go in a different direction. And let me see. They want the next thing. And they want to wait for
I don't
sales.
see them
Yeah.
going
And
past
that's another thing too,
2025.
is it's
I
like
really don't.
video games. I heard
Not
people
on the
talking
current
about
level they're at,
physical
but
media
who knows?
versus, of course, we all prefer physical media, but the problem is now, even if you get physical media, what happens? You have to go online and download an update for it, right? You have to immediately go online. You can't play the game until you've downloaded, whatever update it is, day one update. And then you have to put the disc in every time you want to play. All right. But the reality is that our systems aren't set up like they were 20 years ago, where you played one game at a time. You didn't have digital assets on your console. And, people complain about the games being as expensive they are, which they're way overpriced, man. Like $70 for just a digital game is insane. All right. But the thing is, those games go on sale all the time. And it's the same thing with Arcade One Up. A new product comes out. Of course, it's going to be priced higher, but then it's going to go on sale.
I was talking to Moat the other day about
Now, I'm not even going to get into taking a
where
stance
to
on
get
digital versus physical
like a
media.
Dragon
That was
Infinite
just an
Wealth
example that
on
I was using for
either
Arcade
the
One Up.
PS5
So if you
to
look
use it
at where they
to
are
play
and
on my
what they're
PlayStation
doing,
Portal or
not
the
everybody
Steam
has
Deck.
room to just put a
I
ton
don't
of
know
their
if anyone
cabinets
else
in their
has
house and stuff
any
like that.
opinions
Like,
on
they're going to
that.
be changing directions. I think they're going to be changing directions. Will they still make cabinets for a while? For sure. For sure. And, like I said, Robotron is going to be one of those ones that, unless something major changed, or there's some sort of variable in the market that we don't know about, like the last I heard, that was one of the ones that's coming out this year, or the beginning of 2025. So the next one up, your biggest hint is that their representative Travis has talked about it
Yeah.
multiple times, and we talked about it earlier. He's not going to leave Arcade One Up
Okay.
until what comes out.
Yeah. Because it's like, wait,
I
just realized, is that on the game Xbox Pass?
Come on.
Maybe it'd be better for it to play on
Someone
that.
out there knows. Let me just take a sip of my LaCroix.
I gotta renew my project management certification, so I got like 80 million. Damn.
You can call me
MKXL.
Mr. Addison. I mean, I love cabs and my community friends, but it's a wrap.
Wait, what's not coming out till?
They can't even convince.
Oh, you're talking about the cabinet? Damn.
Most popular games outside of Pac-Man. Yeah, that's another interesting too.
Yeah, that should be hard.
Taco Bell Tekken collab. Oh my god. Yeah. So Tekken.
Damn, not until
right?
next year. Jesus.
So and likely the thing is with Namco is they have a history
what
of
Tekken
doing
are
all
they
their
talking
own,
about? Please tell me it's not
emulation,
one. I hope
so to
it's
speak.
two.
Which,
but I guess it's going to be
every
one
time what they do is they upscale the
one.
games, and they do their own emulation on it. It looks really good. They do a good job.
If I can get Tekken 2 on the cabinet,
obviously
I'm gonna have to give in the A1 up.
I know, control the size of the screens and stuff like that, but I'm talking about just software. When Namco does their own stuff, it turns out good. Okay, Ridge Racer, and what's the other one
I
upstairs
can live with
that
that.
I have? Time Crisis. They did a good job with the software. Like, there's no denying it. They did a good job. Okay, but it was Namco, not Arcade 1-Up devs. And that's usually when their stuff turns out the best, or the best way it possibly could, is when they have the original developers do it. All right, so what's going to happen with Tekken? Namco's going to do it. Namco is going to do Tekken. And whether it's the end of this year or the beginning of 2025, that's going to be the next one that's supposed to be on its way. Now, again, this was the last I heard. This was a while ago. Okay, like I'm talking end of last year time frame. And these cabs are going to be two that I can for sure say were at least supposed to come out this year, or the beginning of 2025 at the latest. I've heard things about some of the other Street Fighter games, but I don't know, because I don't know. Again, like, I don't know the intricacies of the licensing with those games, like the Alpha series
I do
and
now.
Third Strike and all those. I really don't know the intricacies of it.
I'm sitting on a
So
huge wealth of
I can't say for
game
certain that those are going
licenses,
to happen. I know that they, like, a long
contracts.
time ago at CES advertised those, and that they have licenses, they have the means to do it, but I don't know what the situation is now. But the two that I can say for sure are ones that are coming out, and this is just to, like, bite off this speculative stuff that's been going on. It was supposed to be Robotron and Tekken. Okay. But the problem is now that Arcade 1-Up is in a different state, like, business wise. And we, the community, the Arcade 1-Up community, hasn't seen anything that confirms or denies anything that they've dealt with in the past. And it's like, knowing Travis, I don't talk to Travis anymore, but knowing Travis, he doesn't want to deal with it. Like, he would rather be behind the curtain, because it's too overwhelming. I mean, like, the crowd is crazy. The intricacies of dealing with the company and dev stuff, like, it's nuts. And there's so many
Exactly.
broken
I agree with
strings
you,
of
man.
communication, which is, just add that to the list of problems with Arcade 1-Up as a company. And the other thing is too, is that you have to understand, like, these YouTubers, and myself included, that have been around and watched Arcade 1-Up move and grow as a company. They've basically watched it evolve. That's how you understand how the company works. Viewers just know what they hear, but when you see what's going on behind the scenes, and you see who and what the company is supporting, and sometimes not speaking at all is taking a stance on something, and not addressing anything at all is taking a stance on something.
Facts.
And they've done that multiple times. Okay. They've done it multiple times. And, I don't expect people to come in this stream and watch what they, watch this and hear what I'm saying and leave, and then,
Yeah, it would
not
be stupid
support
to
all,
not
like,
do
all
it.
the content creators that
MKXL.
I've mentioned, or
If they're
that
gonna do
I've talked about or
spectate,
brought up.
that's a
That's not
missed
the point of the
opportunity, in
stream.
my
Like, the
opinion.
point of the stream
They could
is
get people
to
to pay
bring
600
clarity
again for
to
that.
what's going on, because nobody wants to say it.
If
Like,
they came out
nobody
straight
wants
up
to talk about these
and
things.
did a Mortal Kombat
And
XL,
and in
and they
most
said,
cases,
"Hey, we're gonna drop
unfortunately, like, this is
spectate
what's
mode
going on. And Arcade 1-Up doesn't have to
with the
say
right screen
anything,
size and all that,"
because
I don't even think
they
there would be a
haven't said anything in
question
so long that
that
they're
people would pay
acknowledging
$600 and
that
even blink.
they're just okay with,
That's my opinion.
basically the Arcade 1-Up community stabbing at each other's gut and throat, and as long as they keep on buying stuff as soon as it comes out.
Especially if they show it off.
It's just
that is
like,
working.
it's total insanity, man. It's total insanity. 1-Up's HQ has
yeah.
Venetian blinds in all windows. It's a
Main winner
scan
gets
line thing.
the a cabinet. Oh
Oh,
man,
I just unsubbed to a bunch of people. Shut up, Paul. um, but so that's not the point though. I mean, my point
that'll
is
be cool.
that except for console fanboy, like for the love of God, why do you please don't support that man? I mean, if you want to, it's a free country, but Jesus. Um it's just constant toxicity, man. And like they allow it to go on. Like they don't make a statement. And that's why it keeps happening. And you know, the community is allowing it to happen and the content
Yeah, they're
creators.
gonna have
And
to
that's
have to
it.
spectate.
Okay. And so that's what's going on. That's where licensing is with
I'm kind of curious why
Arcade One
Arcade
Up and
One Up
John
doesn't
D.
want to take itself
And
serious in that department. It's
those two games
doable,
are for sure games
and I don't think it'll
that
break their
I
wallet to get it done.
was told were supposed to come out the end of this year or beginning of 2025. Now, again, just keep in mind, take it with a big grain of salt because that might not be going that direction anymore. I don't know. But what I will tell you is that you have a lot of other options outside of Arcade One Up. If you want a basic fighting game cabinet, like newsflash, guys, there was never really cabinets in the 90s, which was when most of the good fighting games started coming out, that were dedicated cabinets. So you can get kits for pretty cheap and build your own 3/4 scale or full size cabinet that plays multiple games and theme it as your favorite fighting game cabinet. I mean, and you can use the
It's
thing
true.
of, oh, it's not licensed or whatever. What is licensed? Hmm? What is licensed? Um, all that stuff is biodegradable, man. Like, do what you like. So, 9mm. Oh, bang bang. Wa da dee da.
Bro's been spitting for 2 hours.
Shut up, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
Did you say anything you could talk about?
Right. Well, yeah, no, I mean that's true. That's true. He has, personality disorder. Like a legit personality disorder. Like he's mentally ill. But the thing is that content creators, they can just keep blocking every alt account that comes in. They can do things. They can prevent it. They can make it worse by taking a stand. And that's the facts. That's the facts.
Oh, is that during that Tekken tournament?
But I mean, again,
Okay.
and that's all the type of stuff that the community allows, the content creators allow, which is empowering. And then, meanwhile, Arcade One Up is kind of like umbrellaed over things and they want information to get disseminated through YouTube, but they don't want to be associated with it. They don't want to make a statement. And that's what you got going on here. At this, so which is why, like, at this point, I'm like, I don't even see, Rexer to me is like not a villain, which is why I started off with that. And at this point, like, people vilifying what his channel is completely hypocritical.
Exactly, bro.
So, Jason, uh, I don't know, guys. Ask yourself this question though. What kind of a community do you want? What kind of a gaming community do you really want? Because if there's no news from Arcade One Up, then we should be talking about gaming. If there's no news from any gaming company, there's thousands and thousands of games to play or things to talk about. There's other products to look at. and it can be more of a supportive community. It's not ever going to be perfect. There's always going to be dickheads, but you know what? Most most dickheads just want like a little bit of attention. And sometimes you just got to kind of, give them a little pat on the back and say it's going to be all right, buddy. I don't block people who leave negative comments on my channel in general. I don't. Unless it's like a continued cycle that I like see, because I don't even always see the comments that come on my channel anymore. I don't block people. I don't like, oh, this person said I'm stupid. I don't give a shit. Like, that's fine. Say that. But what I do block is people who are malicious, like, and I'm talking psychotically malicious, and I don't allow that kind of crap to go on. Uh, Digital Schizo, thank you for the 4.99 super chat. Um, Thank you. Uh, I don't know what goes on Discord, Andy, but again, that's another thing with content creators is like,
Throw that popcorn up.
who's allowing, like, all this stuff is like, who's enabling the behavior?
Anyone ever seen this?
Like, who's allowing this kind of behavior to go on, um and
It connects to an app.
again, it comes down to the
I think it's
viewers
pretty
and the
cool.
content creators. But going back to that, what I was saying is just ask yourself what kind of a community you want it to be. Do you want it to be a community where people are just total garbage and it's allowed? It's supported, enabled by viewers and content creators. Because if that's what you want, that's what's going to keep happening. And by saying that's what you want, don't do anything. Just keep doing the same stuff, or just give up because you get tired of going against the current. Um, Otherwise, it's going to take work, and it's going to take the community actually caring enough to say, to ask questions, to put people on blast and say, like, well, how do you know that? Without getting angry about everything too. Like, anger and ego is like a huge thing. So there's several different angles, that people have to think about. Like, well, what really makes this matter so much that I have to get like emotionally involved in this? And I just would really strongly like advise people, like, think about what you want in the Arcade One Up community. If you want it to be a good place, if you do want it to be a good place, then pay attention to what's going on. Maybe listen to people. All right, listen to people who have ways of either proving that what they're saying is true, or that, from your experience in the past, because a lot of you have experience in this community, even as viewers, that that what they're saying has some sort of lineage to it, where you can make a connection. Okay. And support the kind of behavior, or enable the kind of behavior that you guys want to see in the community. Otherwise, it's just going to stay. It's going to be this cesspool of ill-knowledged, um, you know, YouTubers who want to make a buck and don't care about basically gaming, okay, or making the community better. Ask yourself what some of these content creators have actually done for the community. And you'll know, like, you'll see content creators who have made content that is community oriented, even if it's one or two, like, one, two, or three things that are, you can tell, like, they did it to help somebody. Um, and then really look at, like, what's going on in the space, and ask yourself what kind of community you want it to be. Because otherwise, everybody, like, continuing to buy into all the BS that's going on, and and realize that you're not going to get answers unless you do something, like, you take action and do something. You're not going to get, like, the answers that you want, and you're going to be thrashed about. You're going to be thrown all over the place. You're going to be confused, and people aren't going to know exactly what's going on. I mean, I see it on Reddit, I see it on YouTube, and it's like a never ending cycle. And so that's what this stream is for. Um,
Who the fuck is that guy?
I hear you. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Digital Schizo says, I hear you. Let's go birds. Is that like a sports team? Well, if that's your sports team, let's go birds. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Well, chat, we got about 15 minutes left here before I'm going to cut off my huge long stream rant. And I'm curious to hear some of your guys' feedback and see what you guys think, about the community. And I mean, as Akuma Rev says, sadly, the answer to your question is yes. They want that type of trash community. The actions have shown it over and over again. And it's unfortunate, but it's probably true. I think, it's really like crappy to say this, Rev, but I kind of feel the same way. But it really is like I'm being serious when I say the viewers can make a difference or the content creators can make a difference. You know, and you can see a lot of times like who the people are who are just trying to like come here and talk about, Arcade One Up or whatever. And I don't care, like, I have my opinions about Arcade One Up, which obviously I just shared a lot of them with you guys. But I also have products of theirs that I've liked or I've taken, and that is something that only they have done. That is great for my setup or whatever. But I refuse to support them anymore. I refuse to support them as a company, because of their stance and their lack of stance on a lot of things. And I think that that's something that people need to look at. I think that people really need to look at that. Like, this is a company who lacks a stance on, fundamentally moral situations. And it's not about being, it's just about like straight up like treating people with some like dignity, man. Um, just treat people with dignity. Like, everybody, okay, the totally human thing. Everybody's gonna go and like have their conversations with friends, make jokes about people and stuff like that. But it's completely different when you publicly humiliate people or you support by not saying anything that type of public humiliation, and all these other things that we've talked about that go on. So I hate it when you have people talking about stuff and then when you call them out, they then claim they aren't experts. But then why are they talking about it? Yeah. Jade, has anyone shared the toxic behavior with a big retailer? Arcade One Up will listen to them. They won't listen to us. SHELION, sorry to come in late. I've always been here for gaming and a great community, not into drama or BS. SHELION Gaming question, what is your favorite candlelight dish? Candlelight dish? Dark Realm Gaming getting soft on me in here. You know what? Good candlelight dishes usually consist of like maybe some Hawaiian
Steak and
fusion,
lobster.
like really good, like legit, really good, like handmade pasta, stuff like that, I would say. I'm a casual follower of A1Up content YouTubers. Who specifically are the creators you're referring to? I take each day and say to myself, you never know what someone else is going through. That's another thing too. Yeah. That's a really good point, Dan. You never know what people are going through, dude. And I'm telling you, like, some of these content creators are going through some ish. Lady and the Tramp person, eh? But to go back to, let me see, there's two questions. So Evan Clausen said, Jade, toxic behavior with a big retailer. I can't say I know
Have
if
you
people
noticed
have.
that
I mean,
though?
like, the
Around a
problem
lot
is
of the
though, is
toxic
that these
folks is
big
that they got a
retailers,
lot
like,
of
there's really
issues
no
going
way to
on in
get
their
through
life.
to them, and they probably just laugh it off. Just like they laughed when Arcade One Up laughed at Mensa when he brought up the use of the N-word thing, which bothered him. And to be frank, it bothers me. And it bothers me because why is Arcade One Up okay with that? Or why are they not saying they are or they aren't? Why are they not taking a stance on it? So, but I mean, they don't really listen unless you have a big voice. Like if Mr. Beast said something, then people would give a shit. And then what was the next one? SHELION Gaming question. Okay. I'm a casual follower of Arcade One Up content YouTubers. Who specifically are the creators you're referring to? Will H, in what referring to about what exactly? Because there was a lot of different references, so I really don't want to make say something that's out of context, if that makes sense. Walmart does have to play by anyone's rules but their own. Yeah, that's very true. And if their rules are making money, then they're not going to hear, my little tiny voice. I've tried, man, with a lot of people. This hair is like in my eye. Okay, there we go. Get off me, bro. Dude, I'm getting poked in the eye. My own hairs are assaulting me. I'm gonna sue him. All right, let's see. Scott the Waz video really was a huge shot in the face to A1 Up. Yeah, that was a good one. Best Buy gas employee rules. Will H, I really want to answer your question. I just need to know in reference to which thing that I was saying, if you will. The N-word, but Narc was a good game. Oh, here we go. Thanks for taking my question. I'm referring to creators that are creating a toxic environment. When I say creators were creating a toxic environment, I mean by enabling the behavior of other content creators or viewers that it really shouldn't be permissible. I mean, and I was talking about how there's other communities on YouTube that completely do not tolerate that kind of stuff. But when I'm talking about, for example, it's like Justin Console Kits allows Console Fanboy into his into his streams to super chat and make his jokes and stuff like that. And then Danny the Cornercade, he allows him in there after he called his wife a big tittied slut and said that he saw his tattoo on her chest and it says come closer so I can suck your D, and stuff like that. And I don't understand why people are enabling that kind of crap, like allowing it to continue to go on. So your dinner is almost done. So that was what I was referencing. I think Michael B has blocked Console Fanboy. Hey, you are awesome, Hermosa. Thanks, Digital Schizo. And thanks for the super chats. Yikes, it's quite crazy to allow that. Yeah, so it's things like that though. And those are like enabling behaviors. It's empowering, and it's just, there's been multiple times where he's made fun of people like for having mental disabilities. And this is a mental health professional you're talking about here. Like, it's not just someone, it's like a mental health professional on YouTube, who allegedly works with children. I mean, you tell me. Yes, Dark Realm Gaming. Thank you. I mean, I know it means that. But I'm just being funny, right?
I think that guy's trolling. The Digital Schizo
if
guy.
you guys haven't seen, I basically ended up making 2 videos. Like I did live streams, which were basically
if he
like
wasn't giving her money, I'll block him.
And I made 2 videos to put to have all that in context, where I go through audio clips like uncut, and you can hear
he super chatted too much.
Story.
That's very suspicious.
I mean, they're in my videos, and you can see like what he is capable
and nothing's
of. And it's
Cognitive.
pretty dark. It's pretty sinister, but it's just funny, right? Um, so again, if you guys check those out, you will have a better understanding of why I think it's important not to enable that kind of behavior, not to allow it, and in the community. And that's not, it is gatekeeping, but it's not bolstering anybody's freedom of speech. It's using freedom of speech, by making certain moves. Blocking somebody is your freedom of speech. Newsflash, that's right. Blocking somebody is your freedom of speech. You're a douchebag. I don't want to hear what you're saying anymore because it's annoying. So I'm blocking you because you're immature, and that's my right
And yes, I
as
know
a
what it
YouTuber or
means.
as a
FYI.
viewer.
Just
So
coming out of
people
the blue
saying
though.
that blocking people is bolstering their freedom of speech, no, it's not. Like when you have a repeated behavioral pattern that is violating people's humanity, um, that's a problem. That is a problem. I mean, even in society, people would not allow that kind of stuff to go on. So don't tell me that that's woke culture, because I don't even like woke culture. I don't like woke culture. I mean, you ask anyone who knows me.
She does not like woke culture,
Woke
guys.
culture
This is true.
woke culture actually pisses me off. I believe in humanity, like people having fundamental human rights, and the right to live their lives happily in the way that they want to, in a fulfilling manner. As long as it doesn't impede on anybody else's life in a harmful way, i.e., murder and stuff like that, or immoral things when it comes to children and stuff like that. Um, People have the right to live their life how they want. So
Wish I had a beer.
people who think freedom of speech are too stupid to understand freedom is for the government to not infringe. People and organizations can absolutely allow for free speech censorship, perfectly
Come from the
allowed.
guy never served. Whatever.
Some are not for everybody, like sometimes I'm not for everyone. Go America. He's scared that the nut job is going to come after him. You see, that's another thing too. Like I know for sure that there are people in the community who he has dirt on, and that's definitely a tactic to use, to manipulate people with. You don't even have to say anything. Like if you've got a ton of dirt on people, like you don't have to say anything. I mean, that's just like something you got in your back pocket. So they're not going to want to, you know, they're not going to want to challenge you, right? Like, how dare you challenge me? Total narcissistic mindset. Um, I'm immature. You better not block me. Shut up, Paul. Paul Bears, everyone. And Bonos, Tecmo, Mensa, if you're still in here. And do I have any other mods in here? But thank you guys. A shout out to my mods, everyone in the chat. Give them a hand because they're awesome. They're always here when I live stream, whether it's Mario World or a rant. And I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And members, viewers alike, I appreciate you guys being in here and being civil adults and just talking about this. I think that's an important thing. That like I really want to bring back is being civil and knowledgeable. Not again, like not everybody's perfect. Like people may lose their temper sometimes and stuff, but the problem is like people just take shit so personally. So personally. And the only way I can see that mattering is when it's between one content creator and another who have been friends. Nobody likes being betrayed. Brooklyn Menace says we blocked that dude a long time ago. Everywhere he is blocked is totally cool vibe in the chat room. Yeah. At the same time, it takes a load off, and the individual there is smashing in social media and gets them nowhere. That's Dark Realm Gaming. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge thing. Like if you go into any chat room where that kind of behavior doesn't exist, like everybody in there is having a better time. You know, more people will talk. Dude, I watch stuff all the time. I'm just quiet. I don't say anything. Most of the time I don't say anything because um you know, I think that there's people that just other content creators that don't like me. Like they think whatever they think, I don't know. And they don't like me. So I don't really like talking anymore. But you know, uh that is what it is. And again, I'm not complaining, but that's why I am generally just quiet. But I observe. I see what's going on. I see what's going on because I still like arcade stuff. I want to see what's going on, you know, and I pay attention. And most of what's going on now is nothing. There's nothing going on. It's been a lot of like speculative, you know, somebody hurt my feelings, people are talking about me, just weird stuff, you know. And again, it goes back to the whole arcade one up not communicating with its consumer base. Yeah, and pinball, you know, everybody got into pinball, which is fine, that's cool. But it's like, you know, that's another thing too. It's like, dude, just like branch out, like just go, you know, go back to like gaming, like just gaming. But I don't know. Crap, I think I burned my minute ride e-hole. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know, guys. Chat. Crazy, right? Crazy. Rice. Got it. Crazy stuff. That's my take, and that is why I look again. And I'm telling you guys this because if you want to know where to go to find information, it's there. All right. In my interview with John D a year ago, he talked about stuff in there that has to do with licensing and really has like a lot of will give you like a little bit more clairvoyance on how it actually works. So if you're curious, you know, uh,
He's trolling.
go check that out. Digital Schizo, you are awesome. You are awesome. Arcade, don't worry. Thank you. Thank you very much for the super chat. Which creators do you recommend if I just want to get good solid arcade one up info without the drama? Are there any right now? I guess the closest I could say would be who's Dan's guys? Dan. Oh my god. Like Neon Sunshine, Neon Sunride. What it's God, I can't remember. Okay. Well, I would say anyways, somebody's going to think of it in the chat. But who are Dan's guys that do the arcade show? Arcades Anonymous. Sorry, for the love of God. Check out Arcades Anonymous and probably Kong's, I would say, are the two where you're gonna it's gonna be like that. Maybe 19K Fox. I haven't really seen much of his stuff lately. But probably those three, I would say, would be your best bet.
Gotta give you a shout out, Fox.
Let's see. Do. Black ball top. B is great. Yep. Arcades Anonymous. Yeah, good bunch of peeps. Good for sharing your feedback. Felt good to hear. Oh, thanks, Kevin. Always support B. Yeah, B's a good guy. He's cool. He was like the first YouTuber I met in person. Always been really nice. Um, and I think he's about community. He's kind of stepped off and just is doing his own thing. But he definitely cares about the community, and I know that's why he shares a lot of his modding stuff and his passion with the community. So that's cool. Um, let me see. Rascals, that arcade show. Okay, Rascals, that arcade show. Thanks, Jade, for the show. Time for pizza. Pizza time. Thanks, Paul. Protect Mrs. Kong. Uh, See you, Kevin. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks. Um, yeah. So those ones for sure. AA guys rule. One of Rascals make a comment saying "Sheline." Wait, I just saw one of Rascals. What? Sheline. Yeah, that's my nickname. Sheline, because I'm lying about everything. I'm a liar. I just make things up. I confabulate things, guys. I do it. I do it because I want you to see me and look at me and get me more. You know what? I'm probably gonna lose subs for doing this stream. Um, but yeah, I love confabulating and lying about things. You can tell it's how my brain works. I feed off of it. Delicious. um, Biggie D is good people. Biggie D is a good guy. He's a good guy. I don't know about his info, but he's a good guy. One of the hosts said shill line and she line. That was in reference to when you said you sent your KI back, but then opened it the next day. Oh, that was no, my Fast and Furious, yeah. Which, by the way, I feel like I have to tell everybody this again. I literally trolled the community. You want to know why? I was being harassed, dude. Like, it's annoying. Like, I just wanted to like do my own thing, and so yeah. I mean, I trolled the community. So what? I did not harm anybody in the process of doing that. Sometimes YouTubers, like, it's overwhelming. That's something that viewers don't understand. It gets overwhelming, and not all YouTubers will admit this, but every YouTuber deals with it. And I'm not even a big channel. I'm a little teeny tiny channel, like teeny tiny. And it's there's an arcade one up community, like, where you get a lot of people wanting to see the new product and know where it is, what it's doing, blah 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 blah, and just talking about every single thing about it. Like, oh, we think a forklift picked it up 10 minutes ago. Oh my God, you know what? I think the forklift moved it an hour ago. It gets overwhelming. So the way I worded it very wordy in a way to where I could get away with trolling the community because I didn't want to deal with it. Like, I just wanted to go into a dark closet and wait for it to get here and then build it and make my video. So yeah, exactly, Andy. It was not meant to be serious or whatever. But yeah, I mean, people call me Sheline. I think it's so funny because I openly state, that I was trolling everybody, and I really didn't lie, if you think about it. Sorry, I'm talking so much, my lips are like gonna dry up. Totally off topic, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Ambernick 556. I haven't seen it yet, JJ, but I'll look into it and we'll talk about it on the next live stream. You like him though, no beef. I don't have any beef. I mean, like I said, people are gonna say what they're gonna say, and half the time people say what they say out of ignorance. Like, they don't know the full story. If you went and you listened to what somebody else said about me and you think that it's 100% true, you're probably wrong. Like, to do that with anybody, not just me, with anybody, to hear one person's opinion and think that it's true, not knowing the full range of the story or investigating for yourself and looking into it, that's not right. Like, that's not how you should do things. And you can do that thing that you can do things that way if you want to, but you're not helping yourself, and you're certainly not helping anybody else, because then you're just buying into whatever people tell you. I mean, are you one of those people that thinks the government is your friend? Like that's what I think of when I think of people who believe things that they hear from other people about other people. Are you one of those people that thinks the government's your friend? Are you one of those people that like thinks there's a right side right now in 2024? You're in for a big surprise at some point in your life. So somebody calling me a liar or saying what I'm saying isn't true, like obviously, clearly is ignorant and has no context of anything. You know, if people are doing that because they're defending themselves for something stupid that they did too, still no context. Yeah, so that's my take. I have been enjoying James Hates Everything channel, as well as Evil Genius Entertainment. Yeah, I saw that channel. That channel got big, man. And that's a pretty neutral channel, I think. I think he's been like, but he seems like fairly knowledgeable. I think he's been wrong about a few things, but he usually corrects it. I mean, so that's actually a pretty good channel. I think he's more arcade centric, period, like 3/4 scale in general. I totally agree with what you said. Just a waste of Hadoukens. I like that one. I have been okay, yeah, I read that. So yeah. I mean, think about that, guys, too. Like if you see one content creator saying something about another content creator, fact check it as much as you can. You know, it's like I told you guys, for example, the whole situation with KFB, like just go listen, watch those videos. There's your receipts are right there. Quality YouTube, very high production value. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty good. SHELION, are there any handhelds that they sell where all game systems are preloaded on it? Not all game systems. I don't think all game systems, but like up to PlayStation 1, the RG35XX would probably be your best bet. I would say the Miu Mini, but it's a little bit too small. And I don't even have big hands. So if you got like beef eater hands, then you know you'd probably want to go with the RG35XX, which is going to be this one right here. It's really a great little thing. I think I got mine on sale for like $50 on Amazon. And then this is the 353V,
Yeah, that's the
which
good one.
is more powerful and obviously has the analogs.
Is that I
Also
got the
great
touchscreen one.
About twice the price though. JJ says my own 2 cents on politics. Go Kennedy. Biden is toast. Kennedy was an old school liberal, which is basically like conservatives today. Trump is polarizing, yada, yada, yada. Corporations in other countries. Man, it's a mess. RG35XX is awesome. Hoping to upgrade to. There's a new JJ. What's the new one that you were just asking me about? The other one that's from Retro Handhelds.
Oh.
I have one bigger toe. The Plus soon. Okay. Yeah. I think something that has not been talked about as much as it deserves.
Even she's put me through the ringer today.
Ow, hate arcade. Steps pinball and video games.
She gone.
Yeah, it is kind of bastardized, which is weird.
Ain't no deleting this stream, Jay.
I got it. There. One
I
thing
got
I'll
you recorded.
For Kennedy, we'll get Bigfoot files. Yeah. My toes are hairy. Andy's game room has hairy toes, everybody. Government just wants for tax revenue. God, tax money. But JJ, if you can remember, I can't remember the name of it right now. It's what was it called? The retro something. The new handheld though. it's like a RGB or an RG 505 eater is what it looks like. I kind of want to check that out. Andy, that sounds attractive. Oh my goodness, you guys are funny. Good God, it's 4:45. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I'll just go 15 more minutes since we've already made it past the 4:30 mark. Holy crap. RG 505, 405. Yeah, but there was another brand. It's like called Retro something. Retro handheld, Retro Pocket. I think Retro Pocket. Maybe. Perhaps. Yeah. Well, chat, I'm gonna give this 15 minutes to you. Let's go. Ask me almost anything. But yeah, if you guys have any other points you want to bring up or talk about, like, feel free to talk about it right now. Gaming related, subject related, what the stream was about, please do. Toe-headed and hairy toes. What a catch. Are there any handhelds that will have or play all Laserdisc games? I want to play Cliffhanger. Oh, I don't know about having. I'm sorry, I can't answer that part for you. Yeah, I don't know which ones might have Laserdisc games, but I know that there are handhelds that are capable of playing Laserdisc games, and that would be like, I think the 353V. So this one, and then there are other variants of that which are shaped this way, but like this one would also be able to play Laserdisc games. I've never put Laserdisc games on a handheld though, so I don't know. I mean, I know I could figure it out, but I don't know much about it, so I don't want to say too much. But they're capable of doing it, yes. So if you want to know if just they're capable, yes, those would be some of your choices. I think when different editions, Taito, etc. Andy, oh well, Royal Rumble time. Have a great weekend. All right, you too, Rev. Take it easy. Thanks for hanging. Good luck with the Rumble. Let's see. Political earnings in that direction is automatically at odds with someone like SHELION. Retroid Pocket 4. Yeah, that's it. Plus. The Retroid Pocket 4 Plus. I like the Ambernick, but I love yeah, so the Retroid Pocket 4 Plus looks like it might be
I see a
a
lot of people talking
505
about politics
eater.
on there.
And their design is
Remember
cool.
that
They have
guy,
like 4
was it
different
Unacceptable
shells
Friends?
to choose from. They're all really pretty.
And I saw him say he's gonna
And it's going to be
come
more
back and do
powerful. I
more
did look into the chipset.
politics
It's
stuff,
definitely more powerful.
which is his business.
I
But
think it has an
I
IPS
don't see
screen
how he thinks he's gonna
instead
go
of
far
an OLED screen,
mixing in video gaming
which,
and in
battery is like a
politics,
huge
but then not
thing.
getting kickback no matter what policy you fall
So
on. You start getting
thank you
into
again for the
politics,
super
you're
chat,
going to get hate, dude.
Digital Schizo. Let's play Mario Paint Flies. I will play Mario Paint Flies on my next stream, Digital Schizo. I promise. That'll be what I open with. Let's see, did I miss anything there? Thank you for your help. I'm looking to purchase RGX, I guess. Daphne, I mean, yeah. Well, here's the thing: the
20s.
emulators are already preloaded usually.
Hmm.
So if they're the ones that are like Linux
Screenshot
based,
this.
or Linux based, whatever it's called,
About 10
then
of those
usually the
supers were
emulators are
on her
already there.
channel.
You just have to pull the memory card out, and then drop games onto the folder.
Come on, man.
So if you can look around on like Archive and stuff, and usually people have like builds that you can just drag and drop into those folders. But yeah, the emulators are there. So it's just a matter of getting the games on there. OLED makes such a difference. It does. It does.
What's that do?
Let's see. Family values 99. Archive is great for that. Yeah, Archive is like a mystical, magical place. Did I miss third time? Oh, sorry. Okay, Sheline Gaming's
did more than
question for you.
that.
The third time I'm asking this, but do you drink any wine? And if yes, yeah, I drink wine. But you've never seen my streams where I'm drinking wine, huh? There's a couple of brands that I like. But one of my favorite go-to red wines. And I'm trying to, wow, because I don't even look anymore. I just get it. I can't remember if it's like blended or, but it's a cab. I think it's a cab, and it's a brand called Justin, and I really like that brand. For cheaper wine, like 14 Hands is pretty good. So yeah. Let's see. Garlic OS on the 35XX. Yeah, Garlic OS is pretty good. Yeah, most come with a dual. Nice red wine. That's my girl. Yeah, red wine is my fave. I usually like smooth blends, cabs and stuff like that. I don't like it dry. Let's see. JJ says true on the 4 Plus LCD. I think the new Ambernick is OLED. Joe, very eye-opening, but only problem. I tend to like a blush or white. Really? The best white wine I ever had was in Napa Valley, and I was at a winery, and it was a relative's close friend. They own their own winery, and had, God, it was beautiful property, and they had like $900 bottles, $1,200 bottles of white wine and red wine, for everybody to sample. It was a small party, only personal or close friends. And so we got brought along, and oh my God, that was like the best white wine that I've ever had. If all white wine was that good, I would probably drink it more. But I'm more of a red fan anyways. But the red wine that I had, like the $1,200 bottle of red wine, was just like so good. It was the best. It was the best. Yeah. Laysai. What else we got? Dan Z's watching WWE as well. Mario flies. Oh, nice. Justin is a cab, right? Or Merlot. Is there a Merlot version of it? Probably do a blend of Malbec Cab and Cab Franc. Trying to emulate the French, but I don't drink anymore, so can't say for sure. Yeah, I don't drink often. That's for sure. Like Out of This World, you recommend? Like Out of This World? You mean the white wine? I don't remember what brand it was. That's the best part. Oh my God, I got so wasted that day though. That was a rough next morning. My favorite wine is the semi-sparkling Muscat from either that or Dreamer from Aurora Colony Vineyards. Oh.
So he's on his 20th
I'm cheap,
super
though.
chat,
Like, I
right?
buy most of my stuff at Target. So, but like when I do get wine,
So he's on his
top shelf is like $45.
super chats now.
Like $45. I'm living large tonight. Wine. Michael and David's Freak Show. Piggly Wiggly.
One.
Uh,
Yeah, more than that.
I tried that like the Snoop Dogg wine, and because wait, who's that? What's the brand though? I'm trying to think of that brand because I have
Okay, so
like I
one,
kind of like that brand sometimes, but their wine is always like a
6
little bit
of those
dry.
out of the 20 are
And
his.
God, what's the brand that did Snoop Dogg's wine? You know what's funny though, Goofy Foot, is Sam's Club. Sam's Club actually has decent wine for like
I
what you
think
get
now
for
it's
the
a little bit
price. Like
about
it's
nothing,
actually not
but
bad.
earlier
Um,
she was
God,
pretty
what it
much
starts with like an A.
telling her, I guess, her
I
own
can't
opinion.
remember the name of it.
She went in on
But you know, it's
quite a
like
few
for me,
content
it's like when I
creators,
drink, it's either wine
talked
or
about
whiskey, or
the
like a really good
enabling
bourbon.
behavior.
Those three things are kind of
Silence
like my
is
go-to.
condoning pretty much.
If I'm
She spoke on
Apothic, yes, Apothic. Thank
she
you.
called out a lot of
That's it.
viewers and
So
watchers,
Apothic
who
did the Snoop
cry,
Dogg wine, right?
I'm
Or was
not
that his
here for
own
the
brand?
drama, but then they're in the
19
other people's
Crimes,
chat,
yeah. Yeah, 19
basically
Crimes.
spreading drama.
Um, the Dreamer
Um,
is wait, the Dreamer
she
is a
basically just called people out for
if you have not tried
tolerating
one, fix
bullshit.
that.
And
Yes,
she
sir.
named names.
Yeah. 19 Crimes though.
But
That's
what I've
it.
been paying
I
attention to
think
is
it's
this
Apothic.
digital
And usually
schizo
their wine is
guy.
like a little bit dry. It was okay.
He's
Like it
given
wasn't
6 of his
it wasn't
21
it wasn't
super
like
chats to
really
her.
like the best, but it wasn't terrible, you know.
And I have a clue who
But
this
I think that was the
mofo is.
last time I kind of like branched outside of like my norm because like I said, I don't drink a lot. So when I do, I kind of just go to something that I'm comfortable with, unless there's something that's really enticing, you know, and I'm just like, ooh, I gotta try that. I gotta give it a shot.
But
Yeah. All right, we got about 5 minutes chat, and I'm going to wrap it up. I know it's kind of a crazy stream. Like, I hope like there was something out of it that you guys found useful. Just as far as information
an
goes, I'm
online
just tired of
crazy
seeing
guy,
people like
digital schizo. Who
with all
else
this speculative
is into
stuff
the
and like
whole
the community is just it's again
diagnoses?
it's a cesspool right now, and
And then giving 6 of your 21 super chats
yeah,
to
I'm over
somebody.
here like doing my thing, but
Interesting.
I still see it, and it's like I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, man.
This stream will probably do absolutely nothing,
He
but I feel like at least I said something and talked
not a
about it
genuine person at all.
as far as like
I
information
got
goes,
really
and
nothing good to say about him.
what the viewers should be really
He could care less
demanding of the
because
content
he has,
creators
his
in
fan
that
base,
space. I
but
think
he knows he's
you
full of
know
shit.
is fairness, professionalism, maybe clarity of information. Let's see. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for help on handhelds. Hey, no problem, Dan. I will I'll keep that in mind though. I'm definitely gonna have some more handheld content in the future. I'm always down for margaritas. Wasted away again in Margaritaville. Mensa, you're not going to bed. Let's see. Anyone can walk into a liquor store, spend $50, and walk out with a good bottle of wine. The key is going into some
She's right.
place
I'm
like
not.
a grocery store and finding a $10 bottle that kicks ass. Yeah. Yeah. If you can do that. But there's also this thing. If I drink more expensive wine, and I'm dead serious, this is a real thing. If I drink more expensive wine, I do not have a hangover the next day. Same thing with bourbon and whiskey. But if I drink cheap stuff, guaranteed hangover. It's like drinking like Paps over, like real filtered Bud Light or whatever. Oh, sorry. I forgot everybody hates Bud Light. I'm thinking back to like my 20s and teens. Why you got to call me out? Let me see. Hereford Jam, Hermosa, my song, Margaritaville. Yeah, I mean, I'm impartial. I'm just like, whatever. Everybody hated Bud Light because of that. What's her name?
I know Corona is not
So
like
stupid.
considered the best tasting
Just
beer on the
pathetic
market, but I
things
actually
for
prefer
people to look
Corona.
at. Entitled Americans.
Maybe I just got
Cake
used to it.
stands. Oh, those are the days. Because you're drinking bad stuff. Yeah. I like Bud Light, but I kind of prefer PBR. Sue me. Well, I mean, if that's what your bloodstream's used to, man, keep on trucking. You know. But anyways, you guys, thank you again. Thank you everybody for the super chats. Thank you mods, and chat, and thanks everybody for being civil and just listening and having a conversation. Hey, I appreciate it. I felt like I had to get that stuff off my chest, and you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But y'all have a good, safe weekend. I can't believe I just was thinking to myself, oh, is today Saturday? Like, yes, it's Saturday. I actually slept in today and it was good. It's very good. But yeah, you guys stay safe and, you know, just be aware.
What a stream.
Be aware. Be aware and do your best, I guess, you know, for yourself. And, you know, if you guys care about the community, try and make it better. But I'll be here on this channel and working on actually two other channels, one totally unrelated to gaming and one that's like a cross between gaming and something else.
Yeah, they're pretty
You guys will
good.
see that
I showed it
within
last
the next
night.
month here. So
She's got a couple of game or new channels going on.
So yeah,
I recommend y'all
you
go
guys,
see those. This dude. So now that's number
thank you.
7.
Wait, but it might never say in public. What? You keep doing that. All right, thanks, Jason. Y'all stay safe.
Yeah, see,
Have a good weekend. Okay. And
it's so hard.
play some good games.
Fuck out of here,
Get
dude.
in on some games. Eat a game this weekend.
That's the
Eat an
7
old lady's
super chat
game.
out
You'll
of
feel good.
21 that you've ever
Guaranteed.
done.
All right.
Say now, but night.
I'll
Fuck
see you
out
guys
of here,
next
dude.
time.
Trying to get her to do a sound bite. Wow, that was crazy. 3 freaking hours. Some I would do, right? Man, I think she covered everything. That is wild. So I guess it wasn't clickbait. You know, I always try to do something with this you don't know jack shit. I need to get this thing going. Has anyone ever played that game? Let's see. How do you even do this? That's a window. So if I do this, share. Does the sound work? See, sound never works. StreamYard is sharing a window. Yeah, see, sound never works. I don't think I've ever can get the sound to fucking work. That works. How do you do this? I close you. And what if I do? That's the microphone. Oh. Does that work? Nope. Let's see this. That won't work. That won't work. That don't work. Well, this work? What if I go to stop sharing? Present, share screen. This will never work. I am going to figure this out one day. I probably have to do some type of like full screen crap. Wait, let's see if this works. Turn down the actual volume. Nope. 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 Don't know why I can never get to work. I'm gonna get the volume working one day. Do some online streaming of that crap. Well, thank you to all my lurkers. Thank you to all my supporters for coming through. Unless you got any questions or comments or whatever like that, or you want to come through, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna do what she did and sign off for now until I get bored again. So I'll give about 5 seconds. All righty. Everybody have a good day. Thanks for checking this out. Peace.